All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to our Embroidery Essentials event. We're here in Brea, California, and I've got a lot of people eager to learn, right? Yeah. All right. So here's what we're doing. So we have two two-day events. Most of you are, who here has signed up for one of the hands-on events? Okay. So we decided to, instead of just incorporate all the learning in the 2 days you signed up for, we're going to learn about embroidery essentials, really. Okay, and this is Kimberly Dodson from OESD. Who remembers Kimberly? Absolutely. So she's our favorite. Actually, you're our account executive from OESD.
Yeah. Well, I'm the sales manager, so I take care of our top dealers.
Stop.
and also the ones I just like.
Oh, that's nice.
Some of our
awesome.
top dealers don't even make it.
Well, these are our top customers here. And these are the people that love embroidery, right? Yeah. Okay. Who here thinks about embroidery all the time? Does anybody? I mean, and it's like, well, it's a good kind of addiction. Okay, I think, because I start seeing things like, oh, I could put something on that. Okay, or I can give a gift to this person. I mean, and that's good. And by the way, it's okay to talk. All of it. I think some of you are a little shy because we're live. I want questions. I want interaction. This is what we normally do here. And so what I'm really doing, I'm stalling because I want to give away a prize, and they're working really hard to get your name badges in there so we can do a prize. Okay, but I have a question, and I can float with this here. We're going to give away a prize. First of all, we're going to give away a prize online and here. Okay, and I'm doing this as my crew is frantically writing down names and everything because I threw that on there. Okay, so online, if you like, share, or comment, we're going to quickly draw your name from that. But here, we're going to find out who has been shopping at Moore's the longest. Okay. So what was your first machine you bought at Moore's? A Destiny. Okay. Anybody have an older machine than that? A Quattro. That goes 2008. A Lissimo. That's around the same. Okay, Sue, what? 7570? I think I remember that 95. The one, she's saying the one I wouldn't let her out of the booth at the fair. Yeah, whatever that was. That was the 2140. Is that fun? Yeah. All right. I was a little stronger willed back then. I kind of mellowed. Okay. All right. So that deserves a prize. And then, so here's scissors. Here's Sue for you right there. And that means that online we're going to give away a pair of scissors. They're going to give me the name of that shortly. So do we have the names? See what happens? You give me time. I just kind of. Okay. Oh, okay. So we have a winner online, and we're going to quickly give this over to Kimberly here. You notice this? I finally can't see anymore. Tina Case on YouTube. Congratulations. So they'll send you a little link to claim your prize. You can. That's a nice pair of scissors and gifts. But I want to give one more away here, and let's do another one online. So I got to keep track of what we have here. So Carolyn Meadows. Carolyn, where are you? No, Caroline Meadows right here. Okay, so you have to be here just because someone else is going to win here. And so online we're going to do another one, but here we're going to do Kathy Outen. Did we? What's that? Okay, well, I guess we just looked at the list. Debbie Parent. Yes. All right, so we're going to get, congratulations. So a little bit of housekeeping here. First of all, before we get started, I wanted to tell you, you all have free reign to get up and shop while we're talking. Okay, and if you have questions, raise your hand. We'll repeat the questions so people online can hear, because that we all learn from each other, right? Okay, but if you don't make much noise, I'm not going to give away any stuff, right? You're not new to this, right? All right, that's almost acceptable. Okay, almost acceptable. All right, Kimberly, are you ready?
I'm ready.
I'm going to stop talking.
Okay.
All right, I'll give it over to you.
All right, we are ready to go.
I'm Kimberly's assistant, so my name is Igor.
Yes. So yes, we have to refer to him from the rest of the day as Igor, and do I get to just kind of say, Igor, do this?
Whatever
Igor,
you want to
that.
tell me.
Igor, give away more prizes, right?
That's all on them. See, now you're getting it. So we've got some more.
All right. So now we know applause and excitement. More prizes. So we'll welcome everyone who is here in person, and of course everyone out there in the virtual world. I'm really excited to be a part of this. When George came and asked about this at H&A, I think we were at a trade show in the spring, and it's one of those things like, that sounds like a great idea, and then I think yesterday I was like, why did I get into this? So anyway, but we're going to have fun, and just keep in mind, that this is kind of a new experience for us. So I did many virtual events, in the year 2020, and I was then, sitting alone in my dining room table, in front of my phone, teaching a class. And I love people, so it was just kind of a different experience. But I always want to, get that, get the knowledge, get the information, get the excitement out to as many people as possible. So I think this is going to be a fun day, and we're going to do a lot.
And Kimberly, I want to go back in time to that too. We all discovered how to get information online. That's why I've continued with this, because there's so much good information out there. And so we're talking to customers all across the country. And if you have any questions, first of all, you're here, you can ask us right away. But you can also email us at customerservice@moores-so.com. And there's a wonderful gal named Lorena that answers, and she is so amazing. She's my wife, and she will take care of you. So any questions, please.
All right. So let's talk a little bit. I was going to say, are we not going to move? Technology glitch right at the beginning. No. So just a quick intro. Probably most of you know who OESD is. We are one of the, I like to say, one of the OGs of embroidery. We have been around basically since home embroidery began. So the company originally started in the 1980s, and then developed it was a woman in Oklahoma City who didn't have enough designs for her embroidery machines. And so she says, well, if I'll just make designs and I'll share them. And here we are today, over 30 years later. So we've innovated a lot of the things that you do with your embroidery machines. Everything from, started out kind of with applique, and then there were in the hoop projects. We quilt with our embroidery machines. And then of course, OESD is so famous for our tiling scenes and our freestanding lace. I think when most of the time when people come and they say, oh, I know of you, it's because of those two things. But we do everything. If it's possible to do it on an embroidery machine, we're going to figure out how to do it.
I want to interrupt here, and I will be doing this all day.
Yeah.
Okay. Some of you think of lace, freestanding lace, as lace. This is not lace.
No, that's freestanding applique.
Yeah, well, but
so it's a combination of freestanding lace and applique.
Absolutely, and so they are the most ingenious designs, and I believe a product like this inspires you to use your machine.
Yes.
And so, do check this out. I'm going to go over several things, and I love this, by the way. I think that's one of the neatest designs that they've come out with a long time.
Yeah, that one, and we're gonna show you how to get it for the best deal ever.
We are, and I have another a Facebook winner. The last one was YouTube. Selena Thornton. So you claim your prize. They'll send you a link to claim your prize on there. I owed that to them.
So a little bit about the digitizing process. You know, the process of artwork going to or becoming an embroidery design. Our digitizers, we have 4 of them. They're all based in Oklahoma City. They all work together in a little pod with their computers. And then the other thing that sets our digitizers apart from other embroidery companies is they also embroider. And that is why we don't have a lot of random glitches or weird things happening. And it's also why they figure out, you know, maybe there's an easier way to make this in the hoop project, or so it's because they're actually embroidering. So every single design that OESD releases was embroidered by the digitizer who created it. And so they are at their computers and their machines all day long. In addition to them stitching out the designs, we also have a stitch lab. And all of the designs go through the stitch lab. And what's happening in that stitch lab is we have someone in there that is testing the designs on multiple brands of machines, because a brother might stitch differently than a FOF. So we want to make sure everyone is successful. The other key to having great designs is having great artwork. We have an in-house artist. That's a picture of him up there. That's Tim. And all of these amazing structures and things like that, he designed. He also does a little bit of the help of converting some of our licensed art into, you know, kind of a format that the digitizers make it, you know, just make it a little bit easier for them. For example, we just partnered, many of you may have heard the news, that we just partnered with Warner Brothers. And so one of the first things that we released from Warner Brothers was the Hogwarts freestanding castle. Now, Warner Brothers, they have images of the castle and things like that, but they don't know how to make it freestanding. So Tim played a part in that because he understands how to make artwork into a freestanding structure. So even though he didn't draw the artwork, he did play a part in that. And our digitizers, every time I talk to them, they said, I tell them, you know, everybody loves you, and they're like, we couldn't do it without Tim. So having a great artist is very important. But the other thing is, if Tim drew all of our art, guess what? We would get a look. Tim's an artist. He has a style. So we are able to work with other licensed artists to give you variety. And that's when you'll see things like Thomas Kincaid, Tulip Pink, Jim Shore, you know, the list goes on and on and on of all the different licensed artists that we work with. But that gives you variety because there's going to be something for everyone. And George mentioned it briefly. How much stuff do you give away? You're always looking for gifts. So you want variety because all of your friends, your family, they all have different tastes. Mm-hmm. So, and they might be different from yours. Just 2 things I just want to quickly go over. If you are ever looking for inspiration, I have a design, I don't know what to do with it, check out on our website the Project Hub. You can find fun projects. They will have photo instructions, step-by-step, telling you every supply you need and really help you. So maybe you want to put a design on something, but you don't know what you want to put it on. So you can go to the Project Hub, and then there might be, you know, you can see we, you know, teach you how to make a rope bowl. We teach you how to make a tote bag. You know, all sorts of things are in there. So our educators, when they think of a really great idea, they will share that with you at the Hub. The other thing that I really hope you guys go and do a shout out to Moores and say, this is the most fun you've ever had in your life. Go to our Facebook group and say, you know, that you're here, that you had a fun event, and that goes for everybody, everyone here and those out there. But the nice thing with the Facebook group is, you know, you can email, you know, Moores, and they will answer you in their business hours. You can email OESD, and we will answer you in business hours.
My wife was answering people all the way up until the Dodger game ended last night.
Yes.
Which was about midnight Pacific time.
Yeah, so sometimes we do answer outside of business hours. But the nice thing is, in the Facebook group, you can go and ask questions, and there might be someone in England that's awake during your embroidery time that could answer your question, or they might have inspiration. You can go in and you can say, I'm getting ready to stitch the Christmas flight tiling scene. What kind of fabrics did everybody use? And you will get 30 pictures of Christmas flight tiling scenes in every shade of fabric you could possibly imagine. So you can get inspiration there too, and also some helpful advice. It is moderated by OESD employees, so we, if we try to watch if someone gives you really bad advice, we kind of monitor that. But for the most part, there's more than one way to do things, and if someone's successful doing it a way, you might be the same way. So I want to talk to you really quickly about the best deal of the event. So everything's on sale, of course. So shop away. We're going to go over a lot of products, and then we're going to have some bundles that are even better deals. But this is the best deal of the event, because if you want the highest quality designs you can get, you also want all of them, right? So I'm going to make that extremely affordable for you. So we have a club. How many of you in this room are members of Spree Club? I know we've got a few, so a few hands go up. So Spree Club is the best value you can get if you are trying to get a nice library of designs, and you want the nicest ones and you want the newest ones. You'll come to me and you'll say, well, I've had a machine for 20 years and I love the designs that I got for free with it in 2005. You do not love those designs. You need to move on. I look at things that I made when I first got my embroidery machine, and I'm like, I can't believe I liked that. And so our tastes change, styles change. You want new stuff. So even if you have 10,000 embroidery designs, you want new ones. You always want new ones. And you want everything.
Yeah.
So
well, besides that, it inspires you to use your machine.
Yes.
You see something, and I've always referred to this like the album of the month clubs.
Remember I remember those.
Okay, all right. So you never thought that you liked that song, but you heard it. You say, oh, I like that. Well, you don't know what you're going to see that you like until all of a sudden it drops into you actually have an account. You get it right away. It's like, oh, that's so cool. And you start thinking about the person, the loved one that you're going to make that gift for. And that's what I love about.
That's what I love too. It's your gifts. But it's your re-inspiration. Every single month, on the first of the month, I am excited that I have an embroidery machine again, and I want to use it. And I hear that all the time. Since I joined Spree Club, I'm using my machine more, I'm making more gifts, I'm having more fun, I'm trying new things that I never thought I could do. Because, you might look at this bed and breakfast little freestanding structure and think, I could never make that. This is so easy. You could totally make that.
Yeah, the instructions are amazing. Yeah. And after you do your first one, then, it becomes easier, obviously, with any practice, but they have such great instructions. Yeah, and we have a lot of videos that help you. So when you join Spree Club, we figure you're saving about 80% off of buying designs. It's even better now. The price.
Oh yeah. You hear the event price. So you'll get the library of all of our newest collections that we release. You will get any projects that we do. And one of the things that we've heard over the years, when I first started selling Spree Club, when I started at OESD, it was $1,000 a year. And I sold a ton of them, and it was worth every penny. But what we started hearing feedback on was our customers wanted more project-oriented things, because back then, we just wanted to give you 100 designs a month, and they might be, 50 flowers, and you're like, okay, now I've got all these flowers, now what do I do with them? And if you're not really creative, you might be struggling with that. So what we've heard is you want more project things. You want designs, but you want an idea of what to do with them also. So we're leaning more that way of giving you more instructions and things you can actually do with those designs. You also get the collector set. So we are right in the middle of holiday celebration. Every year, September, October, November, we give a free design collection each month to people who spend more than $59 on OESD products. So what does that mean for all of you? You're all going to get October, because can you be here and not spend $59? Like, that's impossible. So I'm
Well,
assuming
we're gonna
everyone in
lock
this
the
room,
doors and make sure
Yeah.
they can't leave.
you're all going to get a free collection for sure. But our Spree Club members automatically get those. So they don't have to remember, oh my goodness, it's October 31st. If I get into my store today and buy my OESD stuff, I'm not going to get my free design. So you just automatically get it, and you get it first. You get Spree Club members get all of their designs on the first of the month. So when I talk about getting everything that we release, just keep in mind that that's everything from OESD. So the Warner Brothers partnership, that was one of the first questions that came up that we approached them about is, we have this club. Based on their licensing, they will not allow us to include any Warner Brothers designs in Spree Club. So it's a whole separate thing. But we said, can we do anything? Absolutely. So Spree Club members automatically have a permanent discount of 20% on Warner Brothers designs.
Nice.
So that was what they said. Yeah, we'll work with that. George mentioned the price. So normally we sell at these events Spree Club for $5.99, $3.99. Do you know how much the average OESD design collection costs? Somewhere between $30 and $50. So you are paying less than one collection per month when you average this out over a year.
That's amazing.
This is I have never seen it for this price.
Well, and this is the digital download club, and I truly think that's the best, because some of you can't find designs that you bought last year in those the
Right.
drawers.
Yeah.
So you just go to your account and it's there. And
that's what I love about it is the OESD website is now my library.
Yeah.
So remember, when I started embroidering, they would sell us software. Oh, you can buy this software and you can organize all the dogs together and all the cats together and all the the snowmen together and everything. And you're like, I'm spending more time organizing my designs than I am embroidering. This is not fun. So what I do now that I'm in Spree Club, if I want to embroider, say I need a snowflake, I go to OESD.com, I search for snowflake, I find all the snowflakes, then I can see that collection number and I can see the release date. I'm like, oh, I was a member of Spree Club that month. Then I can just go to my design in my folder and I can pull up that. So I'm using that site as my storage. I'm not taking up space on my computer. I don't have to worry about losing a flash drive or having it go corrupt. I don't have to worry about my hard drive crashing because everything's on the website.
And it's for every format.
Every format.
Every embroidery format, yeah.
And including, if it's an applique, we include SVG, because how many of you have a scan and cut?
Scan and cut, yeah. So the files for scan and cut, I mean, it's so valuable.
Yeah, so we are trying to make this as easy as possible. But I know there's, there's out there like, oh, I really love the USB. We'll think about it. Wouldn't it be nice to just know your designs are always safe? Now, the question that will come up all the time. What if I don't renew my club next year? Do the designs go away? No, they are still there. So you don't have to be in a race to get everything downloaded. Like I said, I use that website as my storage. So those designs will always be there for you to download. So this is the best deal. So I'm going to show you really quickly, if you join, what you're going to get right away. So we're in October. We have just a few more days of October, and it was a good one. So first of all, you're going to get the holiday celebration for October. This is the one that I said that you get for free if you spend more than $59, but Spree Club members, automatic. This is cards and freestanding ornaments. So how many of you have always wanted to or love making greeting cards? So you got a whole bunch in there.
Now, I want to say this here. The timing is perfect for this because now they're sewing for the Christmas holiday.
Right.
But also as a Spree Club member, the email goes right out that reminds that they have new designs.
Right.
You don't have to wait remember we had the clubs, we had to have everything shipped in and then we had to get it to the stores. I mean, this is so much easier.
Yes.
Believe me.
And the other thing that I love is every month on the 20th, we release a video showing you what's coming next month. So you can go to our YouTube channel right now and see what's coming in November. But that gives you about 10-ish days to call here to Moore's and say, I know that I'm going to want to start making this structure on the first of the month. Can you order me a couple rolls of fiber form so I'm ready? You can make sure that you have all your supplies ready to go before the month even begins. So So you're going to get the cards and the ornaments. You're also going to get that freestanding bed and breakfast. So the design that's up here.
Well, the thing is, I didn't recognize this because the Winter Village is always stitched out in white. I like it so much better in this color. I'm going to hold this up.
So make it your colors.
I like that.
And my friend also, I think the original, this said B&B, but she changed it to our initials. So she made that for me. I did not make that one, but I have a very wonderful friend who helps me.
And I think later on you're going to show one of these, something like that, deconstructed.
Yes.
Because it truly is amazing how everything holds together with the little eyelets and everything.
Yeah. Yep. And it's easy to put together. In fact, last night, some of them have been kind of floating through the tech parties and everything. There was one that was squished. I went back to my hotel room last night, spent about 10 minutes. I pressed it, took it apart, pressed it, put it back together. Super easy. Nice. So there it is. Then we also have the Christmas tree skirt, which once again, this is another example. So we have it there with the red and the green. This is the Christmas tree skirt. Totally different look in patterned fabric. So in fact, last week there was a guy, he says he thought it was a poncho. So there you go.
Oh, why not?
Why not? So, but just to, sometimes you think, well, I don't like those colors. Don't use them then. You don't. So Christmas tree skirt is coming in October. And by the way, we're going to talk about tiling scenes today. This is a tiling scene. So sometimes you think, I don't want a thing that hangs on my wall, but it's the same technique. So it's not, when we say we're going to give you tiling scenes, they're not always what you envision as a tiling scene. You'll also get these freestanding winter lanterns. So these use lights and organza, so they actually, you can put your tea lights in there. And you get a couple of different sizes. So these are also really fun and easy to make. Some other things, you're going to get block earrings. So we're going to talk about our earring kit and things like that. But you get several. They're like little earrings. They look like quilt blocks. So how fun is that? How many of you like to quilt? So how many of you think that this quilting is a little bit different? So a little bit easier to get the corners lined up, just so you know. And then who likes CAFE? I think you're like, with CAFE facet, it's like you love it, you don't love it, but these are so different. This is not what I envisioned from CAFE. These are gorgeous. And I just fell in love with it. One color, easy to stitch. And I do have one hanging up. So at some point we can show it, but I forgot it is hanging up over here. But I think I did one of the floral ones. But they're very easy. These are great gifts because there's such a variety of different patterns, but also stitch really fast.
Is this all 1 month?
This is 1 month. I'm still in October. This is what they're getting.
Sign up for Spree Club. That's just 1 month. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And so this is a really fun one, Holiday Spirit. A new artist that we're working with. So if you like, having some appliques with, different types of beverages, and I think this is a fun, if you're invited to a holiday party or something, this would be a fun gift to take with you. Or let me tell you something. And later today, I'm going to talk about our towels and things like that. We have the best towels you can get. So I have sometimes people will pop into my house during the holidays and they'll say, I just stopped by to drop off your present. And you're standing in the doorway in a panic because you didn't realize you were at that level of friendship that you're giving each other gifts. And so what I do is I'll take several of these, designs, like I would do the CAFE ones. I do some of these. I stitch them out on towels and I just make a whole bunch of them, maybe 10 or 15 of them. And then I wrap them up with a nice little ribbon and I have a basket by my door. So when they come and they drop off my gift, I say, oh, hold on, I have yours right here. So nice. Be ready with the gifts. This one, I cannot wait. I didn't have time to stitch this. This looks like watercolors. Mm-hmm. And it's the way our digitizers, they are so talented at that shading, highlighting, they can make thread look like watercolor. So this is the potted succulents.
Oh, pretty.
And Then we always every month include an edge-to-edge quilting collection. So this month it's First Noel. So edge-to-edge, how many of you like to do edge-to-edge quilting with your machines?
Mm-hmm.
So you know what? You don't have to always make a quilt. You could do edge-to-edge quilting on a table runner, the bottom of your skirt. It doesn't have to, think of, oh my gosh, I don't want to make a quilt with my embroidery machine. But think outside. I've put edge-to-edge quilting designs on a towel just as the border. So keep that in mind of, some different ideas. And then these are, I just love these so much. So these are exclusive. So we always include some exclusive designs for our Spree Club members. And these are Thanksgiving napkin quarters. So there's 4 different options. And these look hard to do. These are the easiest thing to do. You just need the right stabilizer, but it works like applique. Stitch is a placement guide, put the napkin down, tack down, trim, stitch. Wash away the stabilizer, done. So, and I would do these in King Star thread.
Yeah,
I think,
King Star thread.
Yeah. So, and then we're still going. This is still October. We've got the heirloom marigolds. So we've got this beautiful floral. This is also exclusive to our Spree Club members. So the heirloom marigolds, just really beautiful floral collection.
We did the math, I think, last year, and it was like 53 cents a design. I think it was special.
Yeah.
The special.
Oh, yeah.
We're about a quarter a design.
Oh, yeah.
Easily.
This is, when you look at all the designs you're getting.
1 month.
In 1 month. So you're thinking, okay, what is the best value today? $3.99. You're going to get all of these collections. If you are already a member of Spree Club, guess what I would do? Renew at that price, because it's going to just add 12 months to your current membership. So maybe your membership doesn't end until January or something. It's just going to add another 12 months. This is the time to renew while we're having this special.
Absolutely.
All right, so $3.99, that's your price.
Yeah, and online we'll send you a link to it. I know Fatima's working on it. Here, just fill out the form.
Yeah, we have forms here, super easy. Yeah. And we will get you signed up and we'll get you those designs right away. I will be furiously typing in your info. So if you need that today, sign up today, because I will get you activated right away.
And actually online, we're going to do the same thing too. We'll get the information.
Yeah.
I didn't tell my wife that. Lorena, just send us the information. We'll get
She'll know. Okay, so like George said, we're going to have kind of a stabilizer technique, all sorts of embroidery information class. I started embroidering about 20 years ago, I guess something, maybe a little more, I don't know. I bought my first embroidery machine because I had sold a piece of property that I inherited in Santa Ana, California. That's where it was. It was a mortuary. Wow. And so we sold that, so I felt kind of rich.
You were dying to sell that.
Huh? Yeah. And I was kind of. So I was feeling kind of rich, so I went down and I said I wanted a machine that I could do a one-step buttonhole. Well, it was from your cousin. He had a great salesperson in there that sold me an embroidery machine, because guess what? It could do a one-step buttonhole. And here he just saw me coming, like, here's a clueless one. So I ended up with an embroidery machine, and I never looked back. But one of the things that I learned right away was I wanted my stuff to look good. And so I took every class, listened to every person, took the best advice, tried everything. And so over the years, just that experience has really helped me. But you never stop learning. I still get information from other people that helps me. Someone says, but you're the teacher. I'm like, and I still have to learn. So there's multiple ways to do things. So I may tell you something and you think I don't do it that way at home. Well, if you're successful, then keep doing it your way. Like I said, there's other ways that work perfectly fine. But what I do teach is the way that I know works for everyone. So that way, if you're new, I know you're going to be successful right away. So stabilizer, of course, is our foundation for our embroidery, and you always need it. It serves our 2 purposes, which is, keeping our designs from shifting and puckering while we're embroidering. Stabilizer also keeps our design looking nice throughout the life of whatever we've embroidered on. So that design may need stabilizer just to support it, through the wash, different things. So that's why we have so many different kinds. Why would you choose OESD stabilizer? Well, first of all, most of it is cut and packaged in our warehouse in Oklahoma City. And the majority of stabilizer that we sell is made in the USA. There are a couple kinds that we sell that are not, and that's really just because that kind is not made here. So if we can source it in the US, we will, but Badgemaster is one example. And Badgemaster is owned by a family in England. If you're going to get Badgemaster, it's going to come from England. So that's just the way it is. So, but majority of it we get from the US, and then we bring it into our warehouse where they cut and package. So all of our stabilizers, of course, are created to solve problems, but a couple things that set them apart. First of all, they are non-directional. I'll never forget going to classes, and they would say, oh, in this project, you need 2 layers of stabilizer. When you use 2 layers of stabilizer, you need to crisscross them, 45-degree angles and things like that. That's because they were selling us directional stabilizer. So OESD stabilizers can stack right on top of each other. When you have to hoop a stabilizer at a 45-degree angle, you have to cut a bigger piece. So you're not saving money sometimes when you're buying the lower quality stabilizers. The other thing is high and low spots.
I will just interject here. You rarely are saving money when you're buying lower quality of anything.
Right.
You're paying for your time and frustration. So
yes.
Always quality is
quality matters. So high and low spots, that is just a type or a kind of a situation that occurs based on the manufacturing process of stabilizer. And so, and you can see those when you see, you unroll the stabilizer and you can see that it is different thicknesses, different consistencies. And so OESD does not work with any stabilizer mills that use that manufacturing process because you get inconsistent stability. If your stabilizer is thicker or thinner in certain areas, you're going to be like, why am I puckering here but not there? It's because of that problem. So you don't want to have any of those. This guide is on our website. And so I have the link. If you think, well, how am I going to follow that link from here? If you need this, any part of this PowerPoint, Moore's has it. So we will make sure that if you want a copy of all of the slides, you're going to get them.
In fact, I think we're going to put that on our website. Fatima, did we do that? Yep.
Okay.
Yep. She said that wasn't Fatima, but
I was going to say she's changed.
So it's actually there's a link on the page that we have, and she'll put the link up there.
Yeah. So don't worry about taking pictures or anything. You can have a copy of the entire presentation. So a couple things to keep in mind. Keep your stabilizer packaging with your stabilizer when you open it. Once they're on the table all together, it just looks like a bunch of white stuff. And then you start having, oh, I have to tear it. Oh, it doesn't tear. So maybe it's a wash away or a cutaway. Now you have to lick it. So, and
don't lick
it's a start. So that means if you're on a keto diet, you have ruined your diet. So just save your packaging. The other thing that you may not think to do is read the packaging. And let me tell you, even if you've been embroidering a long time and you've used that stabilizer a lot, you may have forgotten something or something about it that may help you. So read the back of that label because that tells you information like when you would use it, how you would remove it, if it's a fusible, what temperature your iron should be. Anything like that is going to help you. So take a look every once in a while at that packaging. So how do you know which one to use? So, question, yes.
No, and then put that down in the tube.
Good idea. So she's giving a helpful hint. When you have the packaging, you have a tube of stabilizer, put the packaging label inside the tube.
Very good.
So thanks, good helpful hint. So when you're choosing stabilizer, you are going to first consider your fabric. And so you're going to think about, does my fabric stretch? Is it light? Is it heavy? Can I see through it? So there's all these different variables based on your fabric, and then and choosing your stabilizer you would choose based on that. So the other thing that you want to consider when choosing stabilizer is the density of your design. And when we talk about the density, that's how many stitches in what area. And so if you look at the images here, we have two designs that are very similar in stitch count, but they're very different in stitch size. They probably don't look so different on the screen, but if you look there, one is about 4.5 by 4, and then the other one is like an 8 by 8 design. So the 8 by 8 is almost 4 times bigger. So when I look at that, I don't like to overcomplicate it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, gosh, 35,000 stitches in my 8 by 8 hoop is a lot bigger, or a lot less dense than 35,000 stitches in my 4 by 4 hoop. But I'm looking at other things that are going to help me with this. One is when I stitch out that rose, it's going to completely cover my fabric. I'm not going to see any background really coming through. When I stitch the wreath, I'm going to see a lot of fabric. So it's a lot of line work. That wreath has some really light satin stitching in it, has a bit of lettering, where that rose is just solid filled stitching. That rose is also really dimensional looking when it stitches out. It almost looks 3D. You know how they do get that look? Stitches on top of stitches. So we know that rose is dense. When I look at the wreath, I think, okay, that to me more medium, just because it still has a little bit of fill, a little bit of satin. When I think of a light density design, that's my red work type design, quilting design, so anything with just running stitches. So without doing any complicated math or anything, that's kind of where I start to figure out a dense design, medium dense design, and a light dense design. And so when I'm choosing my stabilizers, I'm going to look at those factors. Then I have to consider, am I going to hoop my project? Some things are difficult to hoop. Some things you can't hoop. There are certain kinds of fabrics that a hoop would damage. So you don't want to hoop those. You also, if you're doing the edge of something or the corner of something, you can't really hoop it. Some things might be difficult just because they're big and fluffy and thick. So you're going to consider all that. My philosophy is, though, if you can hoop it, you should hoop it, because that hoop really does hold that tension on that fabric, and you're going to consistently get better results with everything in the hoop. But we all know there's certain times where it doesn't work. So that's why we have all the stabilizers that have adhesives on them and things like that, because we know there's going to be times you're not going to hoop. And then you have to consider, is the back of my project going to show? Are my friends going to, see the back of the towel when they dry their hands? Or is it the inside of a jacket where when I'm wearing the jacket, no one's going to know that there's stabilizer back there, or the inside of a quilt or something like that? So consider the back of it. Is it a sheer fabric where the back of it, would show through? So those things are going to matter. So you are looking at all of these scenarios when choosing stabilizer, but that reference guide that we have on our website will really help you with all of this information also. So really quickly, the three main categories of stabilizers are cutaway, tearaway, and washaway. So we use cutaway stabilizer when we have a very, very dense design, or when you are using stretchy fabric, or an article of clothing. So something they're going to wear a lot. And there's a fun little saying that says, if you wear it, don't tear it. That's a pretty good rule to follow, but don't follow it 100% of the time. Because what if you are making something out of a sheer fabric? You don't want to use a cutaway stabilizer on that. For example, maybe you're making a christening gown for a baby and you want to put some embroidery on it. Cutaway stabilizer would look horrible on some of those really delicate, things like batiste or something. So, but also the baby's not going to wear that. And that's really the reason why we recommend the cutaway stabilizer on the wearables. We're assuming it's going to go through the laundry a lot. It's going to be, at the bottom of your hamper a lot. It's going to get some abuse. And that's why the cutaway stabilizer is going to keep the design looking nicer for longer. But if it's a special occasion item or something that you're not going to wear a lot, or it's going to be taken, extra good care of, then I would use the appropriate stabilizer for the fabric and the design versus the appropriate stabilizer because it's a wearable item. So use that. If you wear it, don't tear it for most of the time. But once you understand the reasoning behind it, then you'll know this is a time where I would use a different kind of stabilizer. If your fabric is not stretchy, you've got woven fabrics, that would be things like your quilt weight cottons, your home deck items, a lot of our blanks, anything like that. You can go ahead and you can use a tearaway stabilizer. Tearaway stabilizer is, what you use if you want most of the stabilizer gone, but you still want stabilizer supporting your stitches. And then if we need everything gone, then that's when we use the wash away stabilizer. So OESD water soluble stabilizers are completely water soluble. And that's what you use on your really sheer fabrics, lightweight fabrics like tulle and batiste, organza. And then of course, wash away stabilizer on the freestanding lace and freestanding applique structures also. So all of our stabilizers are color coded. So when you are looking at the packaging, a red package is a cutaway, purple package is a tearaway, blue package is a wash away. You see that yellow? That's a specialty product. That's something for a technique like applique or, maybe it's a prep, but it's not something that you would most likely hoop and stitch on. So you'll see that yellow label occasionally also. And then we have cutaway stabilizers. So cutaway removed, like it says, use scissors. I do want you to notice when you see this rainbow. So you've got the front of the design and then the back of the design where you see the cutaway stabilizer. Notice how they cut it away. They cut away around the outside of the entire design area. They didn't try to cut inside the arch of the rainbow. What happens when you do that is your design won't lay flat. So when you are cutting away any project, maybe it's a name, something like that, don't cut in between the elements of it or inside, inside the letter D or anything. Just let it be. Most of the time when you're using a cutaway stabilizer, no one's going to see the back of that project. So you don't need to worry about how pretty the back looks. You want to make sure the front looks nice. So keep that in mind. And then always leave 1/4 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch, something like that around the outside. Don't get too close to the stitches. You can accidentally trim the stitches. And then also try to make sure that when you are cutting away, you're very careful. Nothing feels worse than having a design stitch out perfectly and then damage the project when you're cutting away the stabilizer. So just be very, very careful when you're trimming. And then in tearaway, that's what we use when we want the majority of our stitches gone. Name tells you how you remove it, you tear it away. When you're tearing it away, support the stitches while you're tearing it so you don't distort them. If you have used more than one layer of tearaway, I would tear away one layer at a time and just be really careful with the project as you're tearing it away. And then wash away. They are made from a completely water-soluble starch, so you can rinse them. When you're rinsing, if you're doing one of these structures, you want to just rinse until you don't see. But you want to leave some in there just because you want the stiffness of it. But sometimes you want it completely rinsed. It'd be really soft, so like a doily or something. So the longer you rinse it, the more stabilizer rinses out. And also the hotter the water, the more stabilizer rinses out. So usually warm running water. Yes? So she topic, and that's actually a really good thing. So she said that she uses conditioner to rinse the stabilizer out. Guess what? If you use OESD stabilizer, you do not need that because because a lot of times what that is the other additives that they've put in that stabilizer, particularly on the adhesive ones, that make it difficult to rinse out. And so I know other companies recommend that, but OESD does not, because you don't need it. So, but that is a good thing to bring up, because it does. I know there are some brands out there that. So the other thing is, and this kind of falls into the same thing as using the conditioner, is that your pipes are safe. Same reason, because our stabilizers are completely water soluble, you don't have to worry about plumbing issues either, because it's just going to, rinse down. I would not, put a big sheet in there just because it's going to take longer. I always trim away the most of the excess, and then I'm not rinsing out a lot at a time.
And your contact information for plumbing issues is?
So let me just tell you, let me tell you something though, because the plumbing issues are, that question comes up every time. So we have in our warehouse at OESD, we have a sink that is dedicated to rinsing freestanding lace. It's used all day, every day. And so a lot more often than you probably would rinse yours. It has never been plugged up, ever. And so the key is running water, warm to hot, depending on how much stabilizer you want, but warm running water, and just stand there, hold it under there, and you won't have any issues. But yeah, the only reason that I feel confident is I know that sink, and I know they're just back there rinsing all day long.
I have a suggestion.
Yes.
Q-tips work really well if you're doing the house or something.
Yes.
Where you've got the window, and you just run your Q-tip around it while you're doing the water.
Yes. So she had a good suggestion. So she uses Q-tips, especially on the structures. She runs around the edges, right, to kind of help remove that stabilizer from the edges. So just and I've even done that when I didn't want to get the entire project wet. And so I just run it around the edges, and it just removes. So just a Q-tip or a cotton swab will help with that. So you can do that also. All right, so I'm going to go through, and so I've kind of led into, talking about our stabilizers and various things and when to use what, but what this presentation, how it really started was we started looking at the questions that we get most of the time. So the most popular questions our customers ask us, and we said, this obviously is what they want to learn. So we created this event. So what I have here is I'll just present kind of like a question that, many people asked us, and then I'll go through the process of it. So I want to talk about stabilizer for terry cloth towels. So the first one is Ultra Clean and Tear Plus, and I'm going to we're going to switch. Igor is going to help.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, Master. You want?
I like this.
You like it?
I've been wanting an assistant.
There we go.
Okay, so I'm going to show you a couple things. So I think we've got it so that we have, and let me tell you, so this is our grippy grid, and if you have any trouble hooping, especially I feel like our hoops now are bigger than our machines used to be, just the hoop. But
actually, I need to interrupt you. I got to tell you about the specials on all this stuff.
Oh,
they're gonna all
yes.
want it. Okay. First of all, everything that's being shown here today, all of you here have a shopping bag. Out there, it's called a shopping cart. But everything is 20% off OESD's pricing, even their own website. Okay. Now, the advantage that we have here is that we have it in stock here, and same on there. So as we're walking around, as you're showing something, my staff's walking around, and if you want them to put it in your shopping bag, just raise your hand and we'll do that for you. Okay. See, we make it so easy. So easy. And online, we're going to they'll put a link up there too. So everything is on sale. So
yes.
Enough of me. There you go.
All right. So the gripping helps with hooping. So it is a silicone mat. It is not a cutting mat. It says it on here.
Yeah, we know that.
And oh, you know that? I've met a few people who know that. It's also not a mat for your punch tool, because I think it's like my joke. I think I lose a grippy grid every time I come to Morse. It's like you know.
As long as it's yours, not mine.
Exactly, it always is. Luckily, I have a source. But the nice thing is, if you're trying to hoop, your hoop is not going to slide on the grid. So if you're struggling to hoop, then it's going to, is this camera?
No, I got it. Yeah.
Okay, he's going to make sure it's aimed right for the, but I can, hoop much easier on the grid. So this is on sale. You can get it. We have several here, but for those out there, it can go into your cart. But I'm going to show you. So the stabilizer that I have in my is called Ultra Clean and Tear Plus. Guess what? Ultra Clean and Tear Plus is out of stock right at the moment. It'll be back in stock soon. So go ahead. We have it set up that you can order it. Ultra Clean and Tear Plus. And Ultra Clean and Tear Plus is what we would call a wash away / tear away stabilizer. It has a purple label, so that means it is a tear away stabilizer. You would never use it for making freestanding lace. But what it does is it stays under your stitches, so any stabilizer trapped in stitches is going to stay there supporting the design forever. But what isn't trapped under stitches after a couple of washes vanishes. So it's the best of both worlds. So when towels, it's wonderful. So the other thing that's cool about Ultra Clean and Tear Plus, the plus means that it is sticky. And it also means that the adhesive that we use to make it sticky deactivates with water. So how many times have you used a sticky stabilizer on the back of your towel? When you peel it away, you damage the loops. So with Ultra Clean and Tear Plus, when you're done embroidering your towel, you're going to take a little spray bottle or something, and you're just going to do a spritz. It's going to deactivate the adhesive, and then it'll just tear away like normal stabilizer. So I just want to show you, when I use it, we have a scoring tool. Now, when you use the scoring tool, most of us, we grew up, we use pins, and we would score through our stabilizer. We were always trying to get it right. So the scoring tool, it's just got a nice weight to it. So I am less likely to score all the way through the stabilizer. So I would just peel that, and then it has a little curve on the blade. It just kind of grabs the paper so that I can easily remove that stabilizer. So once I have that, or remove the paper, I should say, from the stabilizer. So once I have that removed, then I could take a towel. And the nice thing with the grippy grid, because when I do towels, guess how I do it? Eyeball method. So I can use my grippy grid because I can see through my stabilizer and I can see lines. So if I were embroidering, we'll find this towel already has embroidery on one side, not the other, so I can just use it as a demo. But I would take my towel and I can line up. So did you know that this is called the Dobby border? I learned that when I started embroidering. I had no idea it had a name.
I'm going to try to get a close-up of that line on that grippy grid so you can see, point to that line across the
So we have a line here.
It's hard to see that, but you can.
Yeah.
I can see it from here. It's visible through the stabilizer.
Yeah, so I can see it. So I can say, okay, I kind of need my Dobby border. I can use maybe one of these lines, and then I can get it centered on the center line, and then I put it down, fold it out, and it is stuck down. And then I'll talk about this stabilizer in a minute. So this is a topper, and this is a heat away topper. I like to use the heat to go on the towels because I want a permanent topper. And what that means is this topper is not going to go away under my stitches. Because what happens? Use a water-soluble topper. Once you wash the towel, the water-soluble is gone. And then over time, your loops of your towel are going to work their way through that design, and they're going to kind of distort it. So if I use the heat to go, the only way this goes away is with an iron, and the iron has to touch it. It looks like plastic. Does it freak you out that your iron's going to touch it? The first time it might, but it's fine. It's just going to kind of disappear into stabilizer heaven.
Where does it go?
So you would just lay it down on top, and then you can use tape or basting stitch or whatever to secure it down. And now this is ready to embroider. When I'm done, I would tear away as much as I topper. And then once it's torn away, then I can take my iron and I can just iron away the excess of the topper. Then I would spray the back of the towel, and then I would wash the towel a couple times in order. Now, if it's a gift, I'm not going to wash it before I give it to them, most likely. But I know that as they wash it, that stabilizer is going to vanish, and it's going to look really nice when it's done. So that's how you use the Grippy Grid. So I want to talk to you a little bit about some of the things I just used. So we'll switch back. And so we talked about the Ultra Clean and Tear Plus. This is the one that's out of stock. So make sure if you want this that you have them order it for you, but we're going to give you a better deal anyway. So, so you're going to be happy when you see it. We also have the Heat to Go topper. So that's the topper that I use that goes away with the iron. And it tells you in the instructions what temperature to use, everything that you need.
Look at that price. So again, everything's 20% off.
Yeah, you're getting 20% off. So that, and that's the kind of thing you're going to use a lot of it. So stock up. And then I showed you my scoring tool. So you can get the scoring tool in a package by itself.
So that's $9.99 regular.
So it's regular. It's only $7.99 for that scoring tool, and it's going to help you to keep from getting your scoring too far through your stabilizer. The other thing I use a scoring tool for. How many of you, when you embroider a big pillow or something, and you've got a lot of open areas, use this tearaway stabilizer, got a lot of big, large open areas, but it's really hard to get that tearaway started. The scoring tool works really well for that. The other time that I use a scoring tool a lot is when I do in the hoop projects that have a zipper, and I may have tearaway stabilizer covering the zipper teeth at some point, and I can get it started with the scoring tool. So I use that scoring tool a lot. You can get the scoring tool also in this kit. So this is a really, really nice scissor kit. And it comes in this kind of teal leather case.
Nice color. I like that color.
It's the OESD teal color. And you get 2 or 3 pairs of scissors. You get some curved, like applique type scissors. These are thread snips that and they have like a little mouth on them that helps you get really, really close to a thread. And then some traditional, like easy, thread, almost all purpose. And you get a really nice set of tweezers in there. And then the scoring tool. And these all have the nice comfort grip. So they feel good to use also.
So that's $89.99, and today here it's $71.99, and we have them here in stock as well as we'll put a link up on our feed there. So we talked about that, and then of course the Grippy Grid, which if you don't have a Grippy Grid, you need to leave with a Grippy. Who wants a Grippy Grid? All right, so we're gonna go ahead. My staff, where's my staff? Yeah, Cheryl's going to gather some and raise your hand. We'll put that.
I know that, I think the Grippy Grid is one of George's favorite things. We always sell a ton of Grippy Grids when we come here.
I've got them all over my studio, which you don't want to ever see that studio. It's a mess. Yes. Yeah, I'm sure you do. You already got one.
Yes. I was going to say there's a couple of those. So she recommended putting it under your cutting board because it keeps your cutting board from slipping around. But let me tell you, so this is made out of silicone.
Just don't put it on top.
So yeah, don't your cutting board because you will have multiple Grippy Grids. So you can think of the bright side. I used to have one. Now I have 2. Or one of your customers once told me that she cut her 2.5-inch strips with her Grippy Grid. So she has lots
strips
of Grippy Grids.
Oh, goodness.
I felt really bad for her.
Wow.
But because it's silicone, it can take heat. So you can't cut on it, but it can get hot.
Yep.
And so one thing that I do with mine all the time, I use a lot of fusible products. So we have some things called applique fuse and fix, soft web. I might be fusing, something to a small piece of fabric, and I'm worried about getting that fusible product on my ironing board cover. So I will put my Grippy Grid down and I will iron on the Grippy Grid because it just wipes right off. My daughter last week decided it was craft day with her friends. So she was out there with the glue gun, and the Grippy Grid was holding the glue gun so that she, didn't have any drips or anything, because it just wipes right off.
Nice.
Sometimes, just so you know, when I iron on it, the heat of the iron will kind of make it distort a little bit, but as soon as it cools, it goes back to normal. So don't worry about that. If you see, oh my gosh, it's bubbling or something, don't worry about that. It goes back to normal. I heat on mine all the time. So not a cutting mat, but it can take the heat. So I also, kind of similar as using it under the cutting mat to keep it from sliding around, I put it under my serger. Because I don't know about you, but my serger likes to bounce around, and the Grippy Grid holds my serger in place. Because I always go full speed. I'm always in a hurry.
So I would count it. I think they need 4 Grippy Grid.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just counting all the uses.
Yeah. So yeah, if you have it for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. So just really quickly, I want to talk to you about nap blockers. Also, you may know them as knockdown stitches. So a knockdown stitch or a nap blocker is what you will stitch underneath a design because you don't want the design to get lost in the fluffiness of the towel. And so when you do those, I have heard over the years the statement many times, well, if you have the knockdown stitch, it takes the place of your topper. It does not. You still need the topper. But I have also learned when I use a topper with a knockdown stitch, I don't need the permanence of it. So I can use the stitch 2-0, which I prefer because sometimes it's hard for me to iron the topper out just because of the density of the knockdown stitch. If you've never, if you're not sure what a knockdown stitch is, this towel represents. So and we can put it under the camera, but you can see, and I don't know how well, but you can see the how I've embroidered and kind of just, it just holds that nap of the towel down so that the intricate parts of my design still show and they don't get lost in the towel. So I wanted to just give you a little bit of info on nap blockers or knockdown stitches.
Good.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So a nap blocker or a knockdown stitch just depends on who you're listening to. So I use stitch 2-0, which I'll talk more about, but stitch 2-0 would be my topper, which is the water soluble topper. So I just told you about Ultra Clean and Tear Plus, and so it is a sticky tearaway stabilizer. We also have one called Stable Stick Tearaway, so we get that question a lot. Well, what is the difference? So the main thing is we know that Plus is that stitch wash away, tear away type stabilizer. So where the Stable Stick Tearaway is your medium tearaway stabilizer, traditional style, it's not going to wash away. You're going to, any part that you don't see or that you see, you're going to have to tear it away. But it is a little stickier. So if you need something that holds things more secure, use the Stable Stick Tearaway. But it's good for cards, for any of our embroidery blanks, aprons, things that are going to be easy to tear away.
That's one of the most versatile.
It's really versatile.
Yeah.
And
so that's $43.99
so,
on sale for $35.19.
So I just want to show you really quickly, and of course now we're going to have to switch this back.
Okay.
I've got Igor on his toes.
Igor.
Oh. I don't even know my own assistant's name.
You're
Okay, so I'm just going to show you really quickly. So if you look at the back of this towel, this towel has been washed twice. This is the Stable Stick Tearaway side. So see, I still see all the stabilizer there. This is the Ultra Clean and Tear Plus side. Look at that difference. Same design, same towel. Look at how much nicer that looks. And I did not have to remove any of this myself. The washing machine did that for me. But so you can see how much nicer the back of your project is going to look when you use the Ultra Clean and Tear Plus on something like a towel. So that hopefully gives you, a good answer of, the difference of those two stabilizers. And then there's a larger image of something that's gone through the wash one time. You can just see how it's already starting. So you'll see the first time you wash it, a little bit gone. The more you wash it, the more it's gone. But I still have stabilizers supporting my design. So any questions on towels or the stabilizers or the products I've talked about so far?
I think we're ready for a prize. Do they
need that?
Yeah, I think
It sounds like they need that.
I'm feeling like we do. Right time. And then online, we actually are going to give away another pair of scissors. And this is more than scissors. This is actually 2 pairs of scissors. Okay, you got a nice, I think, 8-inch shear. You've got some embroidery scissors. You've got a thimble and pins. Okay. All right. I'm trying.
My daughter was trying to buy a thimble the other day. She could not find one.
Yeah,
I just don't think about that. Where do you buy one?
Michelle Carmela. Where's Michelle? Michelle Carmela?
They have leather ones.
Why is it we don't have? Okay. So we got a list of people that maybe are not here today. Gloria Neely? Okay. You pulled the wrong names. Okay. So we're not going to do that. So again, online, like, share, comment. That's much easier. Okay. Robin Isico?
I'll go get him some more.
Okay, we'll get another name. How about this? Okay. So Pam Stout on YouTube. You are the winner on YouTube. And I'm going to give away, we're getting the names here. So I'm going to hold out this for the next prize. So you go ahead and go on and we'll get the names. So obviously we wrote down the wrong names for today.
I feel like, he'll draw the right names if you're like louder, right?
We will.
Yeah.
But they're working hard to get the right names.
I think that's probably the problem, is they haven't been loud enough. Somehow, maybe those people at home are really rooting for us. All right, so let's talk about freestanding lace. And we'll talk about freestanding applique today. So I want to tell you first, how do you know the difference? So I've got 3 designs up here. Lovely lace, looks very lacy. Guess what? It's not freestanding. If you stitch that on just water-soluble stabilizer, you're going to be really sad. It's just going to fall apart. So then we have the middle one with the little candles. It's from the freestanding basket. That one is freestanding applique. So there's fabric in there. And then the one, the freestanding lace roses, that is all thread. So when you're looking, you need to learn how to tell which kind you have. So if you don't see either of these abbreviations with that design, it's the first one, the first option, not freestanding. But otherwise, you're going to see FSL or FSA. If it's FSL, that means thread only, no fabric. If it's FSA, that means it's going to, at some point in there, have fabric. So as far as lace designs go, the majority of our flat lace, those are things like the doilies, the bookmarks, jewelry, and ornaments. You're going to see those done. For the most part, you can use 2 layers of aqua mesh, which is our water-soluble stabilizer. If you want them to be a little stiffer, then you would add the Badge Master. So, but it depends on what you want your end result to be. When you're done, you're just going to rinse them in warm running water, and your project is usually complete. Yeah.
I'm relatively new to this. I'm not sure I understand the whole freestanding and not. Is it what you've embroidered will not hold, or is it what you put it on?
Oh, okay. So she's asking. She says she's new, so she's wanting to know, what I'm referring to when I say it won't hold together. So with the first design, so we'll just go back to that. So the first one, that's lovely lace. So when you stitch or when the digitizers create a freestanding design, they are creating it in a way that it does not need to be stitched on something to stay together.
Like this.
So this, this is a freestanding earring. So there is no fabric in there. It's not stitched on my t-shirt or my backpack or whatever. It's just stitched thread and stabilizer. So, so if you tried to do that with for example, the lovely lace design, because it wasn't digitized to be without a support, it would fall apart. So, yeah. So when they do it there, and they go through, there's different types of stitches they create that make it so that it can be a freestanding design, that it doesn't need to be embroidered on something. So Aquamesh is OESD's water soluble stabilizer. This one's the one that's kind of fibrous. It looks like fabric when you, so it looks like the white stuff. This one's also the one that if you eat it, it will ruin your diet. So don't do that.
So it's $33.59 on sale.
Yeah. So we have this on sale. Easily washes out in warm running water. You can wash it so that your projects are so soft. When I make things like napkin corners and doilies, I can make them look like my mom really crocheted them. They are that soft, even though I use this stabilizer. So I want to talk about these because we have these earrings up here.
Yes.
So one of the things that everyone has always told us is there is no way you could do freestanding lace with metallic thread. And then King Star thread came into our world. And so King Star thread is metallic. So I have a spool of it here.
I will attest, I used it and they gave me a spool because I'm really particular about metallic thread because I've been doing this for a while and everybody says they had great metallic thread. That I stitched, we're talking, I stitched for maybe over an hour, not one thread break.
Right,
not one thread break.
Yeah, and you can put it in the bobbin, which is why we can do freestanding lace with it, because most of the time you would never even think of putting your, having it in the needle and in the bobbin. But I'm gonna just switch it over. I just want to show them just a little bit about it. So when you typically see metallic thread, the reason that we have so much trouble with it is the way that it runs through our tension discs, and that's where it gets caught up, because usually it's kinking or curling or where do you want to put that? And so if you look at this, and I don't know if okay, so if you look at the way it just falls like normal thread. So notice that it's not trying to curl.
Yeah, and see that's the thread that kinks like that. That's what it's going to do. It's going to kink before it gets through the machine, and that's what causes the break. The smoothness of this, it doesn't mean it's not wiry, because it is metallic. It's just going to come through the machine beautifully.
So smoothly. So I do not change my needle. I do not change my speed. I do not change anything when I am stitching with the King Star. And so these earrings that we have up here, this is the collection that we have.
You want it back on? I'll put it here.
And I feel like, we should have gotten him to pierce his ears and wear them. He probably did that in the 80s.
What's that?
Did you have your ear pierced when you were in high school?
Oh, I have a story about that, but I'm not going to go into that.
I had a feeling.
Hold on. Oh, goodness.
So just so you know, it is 40 weight. So it is the same weight as your typical embroidery thread. So he's got some of these. So these are all stitched with the King Star thread, and it's in the needle and in the bobbin. No thread breaks. I did this. So we had it going on, I think, 2 different machines. And so these are just really pretty. These are really nice gifts. And I have several up here. So feel free, for those of you who are here, to come up, when you, have a chance and take a look at them.
Well, why are we telling about earrings when we have a metallic thread?
I know. Why are we talking about what is the obsession with the earrings? So let's talk about the thread. So we have two, what we did is we made some little quartets of kind of, nice colors that go together, complementary to each other. So we have an autumn one and a holiday one, and they have an amazing price, especially for metallic. So
$59.99, right away, that's better. I'm beating OESD's price.
I know.
But wait.
But wait.
There's more. I'll let you.
But wait.
I like that slide. We're going to give away the design collection.
If you purchase the Kingstar Quartet, we are going to give you this lace collection.
And that's why we have it in stock. So I'm going to pull this on the staff here. If you would like us to put that in your bag, just let them know and we'll put it in your bag. So they want the Kingstar, and they have
and they have to choose. You know what?
$59.99.
$59.99. You can get the holiday one. By the way, just so you know, the red is currently out of stock. So if you want red Kingstar thread, get that quartet.
All right,
because I think the only red Kingstar thread for sale in the world right now is here.
Cheryl, they're raising their hand for the Kingstar thread, and they'll tell you in the bag. Or the other. You just choose. You want both.
You just get both. Then you don't have to. Then it doesn't have to be complicated.
Well, yeah. So
I mean, it's the same design, but if you have a friend,
absolutely,
yeah.
And I owe a prize out here. We finally got your names, so keep your hands raised for the if you want them. They're going to help you out there. But Catherine Dennison, are you here? Catherine Dennison. What? Oh.
Cheryl says, I promise it's the right people.
Catherine McKenzie. Yes.
Yay!
I'm so happy you're here. She said, I've been here all along. Oh, boy. All I can do is laugh, right? All right. So what else?
So really quickly, since you're getting those lace earrings, you need the kit. So we do have these hardware kits. They come with everything you need. So you get the jump rings. They come in multiple colors. You get the hooks, and you get 25 in each color. You get 2 sets of pliers. You get the opener. So everything you need to put the earrings together. And the first time I used the kit, I thought, oh my gosh, I gotta put all these earrings together. And I settled into the project runway. I'm like, the marathon begins and I'm gonna spend the rest of the day. 15 minutes later, all of these were put together. Like, oh, that was actually really easy. So anyway, so I still watch the project runway,
deal.
but
so it's $24.99 for $19.99.
So $19.99, and you will be able to make a lot of earrings with that kit because you get 200 pieces of hardware. So that is a really good value, and I think you do have those over on the table. And then for those of you out there, put them in your cart because that's a great deal. And they're nice. I like the colors. They have some that are kind of more like vintage looking, and some that are really shiny. And I think that was the hardest part for me, was picking which color to go with which earring. That took the most time. I thought I saw a hand, but maybe not. Okay.
Well, they wanted the
I think maybe that was it. They just want all the stuff. Yeah. That's fine too. So why won't my freestanding pumpkin stand up? So I have my fun freestanding pumpkin that came out, I think, in August. So if you're looking for that design, we can make it happen somehow. But that was a fun one because it's the quilt blocks. So I don't know if you noticed, but each.
Let's hold it over here.
Yeah, we got to put it over here because I just thought these were so fun. So each side is a different quilt block. How fun is that? Anyway, so this is my pumpkin. We'll kind of put that.
And they do come back to shape, and I'll tell you that because every year for Tech Party, Kimberly makes me a trunk show. and then she ships them to me in a suitcase, and they're all squished. And so you just kind of reshape them, and they work fine. Your battery's running though. We better plug in your power.
Plug it in.
Battery's not included here. No, just.
I do have that. So.
Yeah. Yes.
So like the house, in right here.
Yeah.
3D. So do you take those apart and store them and then reassemble them, or do you put it away?
Well, I'm going to have Kimberly answer that as soon as she's done with that. You put it in a box. So these little parts here, they have a little eyelets. Okay. And I don't think I would take them apart either, just because you've spent so much time keeping the shape here. Do you glue them together?
Yeah, so.
Okay. But I think, and this is me stalling while she's doing that, it's a lot has to do, like with this one, it's more of a shape. And so what would you do if this was squished? How would you get it back together?
So that actually happened to me last night.
Okay.
So when I got here, we had been, a lot of these designs had been roaming the tech parties. And so there were a couple of them that were a little bit, squished more than my comfort level. So last night I went back to my room and I did take them apart and repress and put them back together. I did that with a couple of them.
Well, you have something deconstructed we can show
Yeah.
later. Is this a good
do.
point or
So
no?
actually, let's switch it over, and I'll just talk to you about the process. So I have one here. This is a pumpkin from a previous year that I just carry with me, just so that you can see what the pieces look like. So when you talk about your designs not being supported, it's usually a combination of, not the right stabilizers, not following the instructions. So there's a couple of things that we recommend. Well, I talked about Aquamesh already, that water-soluble stabilizer. You're going to use that. But when you use Badge Master in combination with it, Badge Master is starchier. So that alone, combining Aquamesh and the Badge Master, is going to help it stand up better. But we also have another product called Fiberform, and I'll put it up there so you'll see the information on it. But the Fiberform really is what makes them stiff. And that stays under the fabric forever. When I make them, I cut my Fiberform with my scan and cut because it is heavier. You can cut it with scissors, but I find it easy to cut. We also, so in addition to the SVG files, we give you like a PDF template. So you can print the PDF pages and use those as patterns to cut, the pre-cut parts. So if you don't have a scan and cut, you should get one. But if you,
I know a place where they can.
Yeah, I had a feeling that. But if you don't have that, then you can use those templates to cut your shapes. But so this is what the parts look like when you take them out of your, once they're stitched. So this one's been stitched and rinsed and dried and pressed. And it has the Fiberform in there. And you get these little buttons and loops. Is that on there?
Yeah, that's good.
So I have loops here, buttons here. And so to put them together is really easy. I have a couple here that this one's started. So the right tools.
Got it. Yeah. Just this way you can see it.
So is it on?
Yep.
So these are my alligator clamps. I'll slide them through. The nice thing with the alligator clamps is they don't open all the way. They only open at the mouth. So when you're using a hemostat, sometimes you can't get a good grip. So because you've got your hemostat in there, the loop is holding the hemostat closed. So that's why it's important to have the alligator clamps, because then they just open at the mouth. I can grab that little buttonette, if I can aim, and then I can just work it through. And I didn't get it quite, I think I didn't get my grip right, but there it goes. So that was through. And then the other thing that I'm using here is these button clips, because what happens is, well, when I pull that one through, if I didn't have button clips on these, they would pop right back out. So once that's built, you can see I don't need the button clips forever. once it's built, it'll stay together. So it's just during the building process that they help. So having the right tools, using the right stabilizers, that's what's going to keep your structures looking nice and make it, more enjoyable to put them together.
Cool.
And the other thing that you'll notice a lot in using in the freestanding is the punch tool. So the punch tool is a rotary punch, and I'm going to hold it under here. So is that right? Am I aiming it right?
Yeah.
But the punch tool has 3 different sizes of tips. Guess what you don't do? Not on the mini mat, or not on the grippy grid. You do want it on the mini mat. That's what this guy is for. So this is our mini mat. You get them in a 2-pack. You know why you get them in a 2-pack? Because you need one for your punch tool, one for your Barbie dream house sewing room.
Ah.
Aren't they cute? Is it like the cutest thing you ever? It's like the tiniest little cutting mat. So you need that. So on this one, you'll notice in this pumpkin, it has an eyelet. So that's why I would want the punch tool. And that's how easy it is. You don't need to have a lot of hand strength to use it because you're not gripping something.
Well, I notice it twists.
Yeah, so you just push straight down.
Nice.
And the other thing, you can punch into something that is, further into a project where, if you're using a standard hole punch or something, you're limited for how far you can to get into the project. So that's the other reason that these are really nice. And like I said, they come with 3 tips that store in the cap. So you can switch them out very easily. So that's another thing you probably would want to have if you are making freestanding structures.
Oh, they're going to want it.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
My friend says, you just highlight all the things on the, that you want, and then you just get them.
Because you need it, and we can't get it to you right away.
Yeah. And it's nice because it's here. We're going to get it to you quickly, and then of course it's on sale.
Yeah.
So freestanding applique is what we've just been talking about. That's where you're using fabric in your project. You're going to see it in similar projects. So yes, question. Oh, that's a really good question.
Repeat that question.
So she says, when you use Badge Master, do you put it on top or bottom? The answer is, doesn't matter. So when you're hooping, you're aquameshing your Badge Master, it really doesn't matter. I think our nature tells us to put it on top because it looks like a topper, but it's not. So it really doesn't matter, whichever you prefer. So it'll work just fine either way. So we talked about Aquamesh, and of course, that's already a great price. Normally $41.99. Now it's only $33.59. That's the one that we used in our other freestanding lace, but now we're adding the Badge Master. You've got to have the Badge Master. Not only is Badge Master good for doing these structures and things, this is your go-to stabilizer when you're making patches. And patches are something that even kids like, everybody thinks patches are cool, and they like the most random things, a patch of it. So having some Badge Master on hand is really going to help you with doing the patches. So making sure you have that. It also rinses away in warm running water. It's water soluble. It just takes longer. So that's why it's going to help your structure. It's going to basically keep you from over rinsing your project and keep that structure really nice. So that is normally $37.99. We've got it. George has it on sale for you for only $30.39. So once again, nice sales happening. The other thing I mentioned is the fiber form. That's what really keeps them stiff. Fiber form is used in most of our freestanding projects, but also other things like door hangers or towel toppers, anything that you need that added stiffness. So you're going to see that a lot. Like I said, I can cut it with my Scan and Cut, or you can easily cut it with scissors, whichever works for you. And look at that price. You know what? I would get a bunch of it. because once you start using it, you're going to want it in everything because it just makes your things so much nicer. And
one?
I'll tell you a little
Fiber,
secret.
okay, so they're asking
Oh.
for fiber form. So maybe whoever
Oh.
wants fiber form, raise your
Yeah.
hand and we'll get that.
Yeah, so we got some hands up for fiber form.
Yeah.
The other thing, when I was, so yesterday I told you when I opened up all the freestanding things that have been traveling through the tech parties, there was the haunted bridge was in there. And I was like, why is it in kind of not as, like it was, you know, some of the things needed a little bit of help. That thing was a mess. And I thought, why is it, you know, why did it get squished so bad? Especially there's a gingerbread bridge. The gingerbread bridge looked great. It's like, why is the haunted bridge so when I took it back to the hotel last night, my friend made it for me. Guess what? I think she thought I wouldn't notice that she did not use fiberform. And so when I started pressing it and putting it back together, I'm like, that's why it did not hold up. So I got it, you know, it's good enough for, you know, the show here, but it was that noticeable to me that of all the projects that came, you know, from the show, that one was the one that really was like, why is it so squished and so flat and so floppy looking? So fiberform really makes a difference. But yeah, as soon as I started this, you know, taking it apart, I was like, yeah, she's busted. She didn't use it. So you definitely want it. It will totally, I have seen people that they had been making our Winter Village buildings for years. They have the whole set. And once they started using fiberform, we're like, we're going back and remaking all the others. It is such a dramatic difference in how nice they look with the fiberform in them. Yes, did you have a question or you want, she's raising her hand that she wants some.
Yes. Yeah, they're going to write it down for you.
All right. The other thing I showed you, the alligator clamps. So they have the nice ergonomic comfort grip handles. So it doesn't hurt your hands when you have to build a lot of projects.
Wasn't that in the kit though?
They are not in the kit.
Oh, well, then they need that too.
So
they match
the kit because, you know, we have to have everything matched because that's how we are. Everything has to be teal because that's pretty. So you can use the alligator clamps for multiple purposes though. So of course you saw me using them to put my freestanding structure together, but also use those alligator clamps anytime you need something in a hard to reach area. Maybe you're putting polyfill down into a doll's arm, or maybe you've lost the tie in your waistband or your hoodie, or you just need to feed ribbon through a casing. The alligator clamps are a multi-purpose tool. You're going to find a lot of uses for them because they get into those tiny areas so easily. So those are normally $24.99. We have them here only $19.99. So I would definitely get a set of those. I have a friend, she says, whenever you have a tool that you're going to use a lot, you need 3. And you need one, she says, you keep one, that you use, then you have the backup one for when you can't find that one. And then she says you keep the third one in your underwear drawer when you can't find the other 2. Well, I think that when I was looking the other day, I have used the one in my underwear drawer even. I'm like, I work for the company and I do not have one set of alligator clamps in my house. How is that possible? So if you love a tool, get, a couple of sets of it, just because it's, so easy to have, I'll find things and they'll be under a piece of fabric for a project that I was gonna make. Any of you have those? So.
Destiny, you have a question or you're waiting?
Did you have a question or are you wanting to? Okay, question. Yes.
You should stop installing the little feet on all your products that make them walk away.
She says that we put feet on our products that make them walk away. But no, I don't know about your rooms, but I think mine might be similar to George's. So,
yeah,
and,
you don't even want to know.
And I'll have people that come over and they'll say, "Oh, I want to see your sewing room." I'm like, "No, you don't." No, that's the truth.
Question that I thought That's really
Oh.
a good one.
Yes.
So if they live in a humid area, do they need to
Oh,
store
this
their
is,
aqua
okay,
mesh in
so this is a
special
good
way?
one. Do people in humid areas need to store aquamesh in a special way? Aquamesh, not really, but some of the others. Badgemaster, I store in an airtight, if you're in humid, airtight. Stitch 2O, heat to go. The other one that I watch really closely, surprisingly, is the Ultra Clean and Tear Plus. Because remember, the adhesive deactivates with water. A super humid environment can make that adhesive deactivate just sitting on the roll. So that one I also store in airtight. So a good question, humid. So Badgemaster, Stitch 2O, Heat to Go, and Ultra Clean and Tear Plus are the ones that I store more carefully, and I would worry about if I were in a humid area.
Great.
So here are the button clips. So you get 10 clips in the package. Look at that. They're only $3.99.
You know what? All this time that you've been bringing this, we've been selling this,
Yeah.
I never knew what they were for. And
Now you know.
finally, I learned something today. It's like,
Yeah.
that's what you use.
Yeah. So I use them for a couple things, though. And one of them is not what you guys are thinking, because I always get that, too. We know what they're for. But so I use them, of course, like I just showed you with the freestanding lace. But I also, sometimes when I'm putting things together that are bulky or heavy, assembling my tiling scenes, I will use them in place of Wonder Clips because their teeth are grippier. So I will put those on. I like to make bags, so I'm sometimes working with heavy vinyl and stuff like that likes to slip. Sometimes a Wonder Clip just isn't strong enough to really hold it. The button clips will. So use them instead of Wonder Clips on those bulkier, heavier items. I love multi-use for my tools. I always, how many of you, does anyone in here own the thing that slices the banana? Have you seen that tool? You own it? I'm like, what, I would buy that if it did more.
Are we taking orders on that?
Yeah, no. I would buy that if I could think of a reason that or something that it could do other than slice a banana. But I'm not going to buy a tool that does one thing. I want my tools to help me in multiple areas. So that's why I always try to give you hints. When you're looking at these kinds of things, you're going to use them not just for the purpose that I'm talking about today. They're multi-use tools. And then we have these amazing tea lights. This was a super request. So George is holding one of them. But these are timer, remote control, multicolor, all the fun things.
Oh, it's green. Look at that.
And do I have it? So we can, here, hold it. And then
let's put it on this here.
yeah, we can put it on the screen, and then maybe we can try to change the colors.
What did I do? Well, you let me, we lost the camera.
Uh-oh.
Cameron.
He's coming back. So.
Okay, so I will do this here. Do you know what it is? The power went off here.
Oh.
The power of our camera. So I'm going to leave that with you, Cameron. Okay, all right, we'll come back to that.
What is it?
Pay no attention to the man behind.
I was going to. That was exactly where I was like.
All right, we'll get.
So
let me describe it. It's a light that changes colors.
Yes, and I can change it. See, I'm changing it in George's hand right now.
So that's really cool.
So you get 4 in the package, and they don't all have to be the same color. So I could have a pink one, for one thing, and a blue one.
So you're controlling the color.
Yeah, I'm controlling the color with my little remote.
Is it random? Can you press a button?
Yeah, I can do like fade. I can do jump. So see, now I've got it on jump. So it's randomly changing the color. And then
you want 2? She wants 2 of them. Adolfo's coming.
Yeah, I think they're fun.
Right.
Anyway, so multiple colors, and then you can, and also a timer. So if you have it in a difficult area, you can use the remote, or if you're like me and forget to turn it off at night.
All right, thank you. Yes.
Yes. Can you change the battery on those? Yes, they use the round disc ones. So yes, you can change the batteries in them.
All right.
So only $7.99 for the 4-pack. That's a great deal.
And it comes with the remote included.
Yeah, it comes with the remote, comes with, yeah, everything. And it comes with batteries in it already. So you don't have to have them
Yeah.
right away.
If you're online, you better enter your order. And this store, they're taking all
Yeah.
this product.
Are these for the freestanding?
Yeah, you can put them under the lace, or under a structure.
I can put them inside the.
But yeah, like I'll put them inside this
I mean,
little.
the nice thing about it is that they have so many different holiday editions, and they're great to bring out
Wonder if I
with the
can
light
fit it in
to
there.
display.
Oh, here we go.
That's right, the whole village. You have the whole village. Wow.
So yeah, so you can kind of
Wow.
tuck it in there,
Yeah.
and it'll light up.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
If you have like 3 or 4 friends, and give each one the remote that you have operates all 3 of them.
Yeah, so you get it's
Yeah.
a 4-pack.
The one remote operates the 4-pack of them.
Yeah.
If you had another remote, I'm not going to reprogram your remote.
Yeah.
So I think the remote is for the 4.
Yes,
so
you get-
it's not like you're going to give the light. It's really for your display, I would say, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Because if you were,
Oh, I think I was thinking her thought is that you could kind of mess with people.
oh,
You could, you could say, I don't know why your tea light keeps changing when you're over at their house visiting.
now you're giving her ideas.
Yeah, so you can actually, I can make them all different colors. If they're close to each other, the remote is going to pick up on both of them. But if they're on opposite sides of the room, I could have one green and one blue or red or, yeah. So yeah, so if you give one to your friend and then you go visit them, you could sit there in your purse changing the color of their lights and say, I don't know why your lights are going crazy. So was there another question, or
Everybody
she's looking at,
our secret shopper, our private shoppers.
yes, I think I want to make sure I'm not missing questions, that they're just shopping. The other thing that if you do not have a punch tool, I don't know where you have been, because these are the greatest thing. So like I said, rotary punch. So if you have and don't forget, once again, multi-purpose tool. You're going to, use it for your freestanding structures, to get your eyelets and your, sometimes the little buttons need their, their eyelet punched also. But also, if you do any kind of rivets, snaps, so bag making, things like that, it is a game changer for you. If you do, like card making and want to, decorate, works great for that. If you gain weight or lose weight and need a new hole in your belt, use it for that. So it's definitely a tool that you're going to use in multiple areas of your crafting. But I love it because like I said, I make a lot of bags and purses. So, and I used to have like the big tool that would come out and it was hard to grip, and now I have this, I'll never go back, because I can get my rivets done and my snaps and grommets, anything like that, really easily. And you have to have the mini mats, of course. You just have to have them because they're so cute. How many of you have bought something because it was cute? I 100%. I have a sewing machine I did not need. I bought it 100% because it was cute. So do I use it? No. But it looks so cute.
When you say cute, I can't tell you how many times I've walked out of a grocery store with a giant teddy bear just because I said, that's cute, my daughter would like it.
Yeah.
And so,
yeah.
It sells.
So sometimes, and for $4.79, that's totally worth the cuteness. So,
That's right.
So yeah, and once again, multi-purpose. So you're going to use it with your punch tool. You're going to use it with a craft knife, so you don't damage your cutting mat, a button hole cutter, anything that you are worried, X-Acto knife, anything like that. You're going to use that mini mat to protect. So any questions on lace? So I think we're good to keep going. Like we said, if you feel you need to get up, George says I'm not allowed to stop.
Yeah, you could
So,
shop.
but you guys, if you need to stretch, feel
absolutely.
free. It won't bother us. You're sitting here for a while, and sometimes you just need to maybe do a dance, and that's fine too.
Mhm.
I won't do that, even though I kind of want to.
I won't dance.
So
Heat and go.
So I want to go
Heat to go.
through the 3 toppers we have. I talked about heat to go all the way back when we talked about towels. That's my go-to when I want something permanent. But I need it clear, So I really like it for the towels because I can just iron away the excess. And that $10.39. Really, you got to have that. But then the other one that we have is the water-soluble topper. It's called Stitch 2.0. And Stitch 2.0 is has a nice texture, so it doesn't stick to itself or you or your foot, and it will go away completely with water. So if you need a temporary topper, then you would definitely go to Stitch 2.0. You can use your stabilizers and other things outside of embroidery, but really quickly, I just want to talk to you about the process of, or why you would even use a topper. So especially those of you who are new, you want to use a topper anytime your project has nap or pile or loft or, anything fluffy. So of course, towels are, the obvious first thing you think of, but other things like fleece or velvet or anything that's
t-shirt material,
but knits.
Yeah,
I think knits are one of the things that a lot of people don't think about. But your t-shirts and your sweatshirts, that knit, even if it's thin, your stitches can sink down into it. And so using a topper is going to keep your project looking nicer or your stitches looking nicer. I also use a topper a lot on woven fabrics. Anytime I have like a lot of detail, like maybe small lettering or, a really kind of delicate design, a topper is going to help those stitches form better. And then the other time that I would say always use a topper is if you have satin stitches. And you can see on that letter S monogram up there, when you look at the one on the left, and I will tell you, if you embroidered that one on the left out and you were done, you'd probably be okay with it. But then you will see the one on the right that's done with the top and you're like, oh, my embroidery could be next level if I just use a topper. So I always recommend using a topper. Another thing that, and you, for this, you can use heat to go or stitch to go. It doesn't matter, whichever one is closest to you. But how many of you have a serger? Lots of us have sergers. How many of you like to do rolled hems, make napkins or things like that on your serger? How many of you have ever gotten on your sergers what I refer to as the pokies, where just every so often you get a random little, like a skip or a little, that fabric is poking out through that rolled hem. Use a topper. It will change it. You will never get pokies again. And use it the same way you do it in embroidery. You've got your project on your serger, put the topper down on top and serge away. And like I said, either heat to go or stitch to go. It doesn't matter which one you use because it doesn't need to be there permanently. So I just use whichever one is closest to me. But you will realize how nice your rolled hems look just by adding the topper. So use it on that too. I also use a topper when I do decorative stitches on my sewing side of my machine because it'll make those decorative stitches look nicer. And then the third topper that we have, that one is a 10-yard roll. It's only $15.99. Yeah, so definitely get that. And then the third topper we have is called top cover. And top cover is what we use when we are embroidering something where our thread color and our fabric or background color have a significant contrast. So a snowman on a black towel, that would be a significant contrast. You got white thread on black fabric. And so what top cover does is it prevents that background fabric from shadowing through our thread. And I don't know if they can see, if we can switch the camera. I have a little example of a polar bear on a red towel. And so if I put this down and we'll kind of hold this up, but this is my, and I don't know how well we can see it in the camera.
All right, let me zoom in on that here.
So I don't know if you can see, but that polar bear, he almost looks pink and he just doesn't look nice and filled. So if we look at the one that I put the top cover in, he's just looks nicer. So because the one on my left, your right probably, he almost looks pink because of the red. So that's what top cover's for. And top cover will stay in your project permanently. So the way that it's removed is by tearing it away. So you would never use top cover on something that has a lot of open areas, but that would really defeat the purpose anyway.
Okay. Yeah.
It comes in different colors. So the package that we have is a variety pack. You get, I believe, I can't remember. I know you get 20 sheets, but I think there's about 5 colors. I know there's black, there's white, there's green, there's red, there's blue, and I think orange. Did I guess right? Maybe yellow?
Yeah.
Is yellow in there too?
Yeah,
she's gonna look. I think, but there's several different colors, and you're using the top cover. How you're choosing which color of top cover to use, something in the same color family as your thread. So obviously, there's no purple top cover. You could use blue or red, depending on kind of the shade of the purple you're using. So pink, pink thread. I might use the red top cover. So you're just something in that same family. And that's only $11.19. And it's, so I love to talk about toppers just because I feel like the topper is what elevates your embroidery. It's knowing which topper to use and when to use it is what's going to set you apart from other embroiderers, because your projects are going to look so much nicer.
Okay, so they would like some as well. See, once you get used to having a personal shopper, it's hard to go back, right? So Cheryl, we'll get that for you. Anybody else wants? I think what they're doing is they're writing your bag numbers down is what they're doing. Yeah. I think we need a prize.
I think so too.
I think we need a prize.
They've been asking some good questions, and they've been helpful with comments and giving other ideas.
So wonderful, and I bet I have their names finally right.
We'll see.
I hope so. I have to say, I threw this on them. I said, well, where are their name badges? Well, they thought it was for tomorrow. And so that's my fault. Deanna Brielle. Congratulations, Deanna.
Congratulations.
Okay, and then online, like, share, comment online, and we'll have one other prize. There you go, Deanna. Congratulations. That goes in there?
Online.
Okay, online. This is on Facebook. So
who is it?
We have Lorraine Painter on Facebook. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
They'll send you a link or contact customer service, and my wife will contact me saying, "What's this for?" Okay.
That's the best part of being married, is just planning things that they're involved in and they don't know about it.
Except when they are a lifelong Dodger fan, and we were tied for how many innings? I let her be. I kind of walked out of the room.
Yes, I can imagine. Yeah, that's the one thing. Like sports, and I don't know. I just want to embroider. I don't care about sports. So, but I know I have neighbors. So I live outside of Cincinnati, in the suburbs of Cincinnati, and my whole street suddenly becomes like Bengals Who Day flag, and I'm like, oh, is there a game? Mm-hmm. That's how I know. There's a guy who has I don't know if it's a Midwest thing. He basically has a bar in his garage,
a bar in his garage?
A bar with multiple TVs. It looks like a sports bar. So he has, I think, 5 big screen TVs and a whole bar set up. They call it Leo's Lounge. And he puts the Bengals flag out. If the Bengals flag is out, then the bar is But yeah, I've never seen things until I moved to the Midwest like that. Every house that I looked at to buy had a bar in the basement. Like, I was like, so I have a bar in my basement and it's full of soda.
Very good.
So, all right, so let's talk about t-shirts. When you're doing t-shirts, you want to use fusible polymesh. And the reason you want to use fusible is because the fuse will keep the t-shirt from stretching when you hoop it. Because remember what I said, I really like hooping stuff. So I hoop my t-shirts. So I will put the fusible polymesh. It is a cutaway stabilizer. And the nice thing with polymesh, though, is that it's really soft. So it's not going to change the drape of it. It's not going to feel stiff when someone's wearing it. And so when I hoop a t-shirt, I have one hooped here just so I can show you, because when you're on a domestic, like a flatbed machine, you think, okay, if I put this in my machine, I'm going to embroider through the front and the back, right? So I don't know if you want to, we can switch this over, and I can just show them what I do in this situation. So my polymesh, I also, when I do this, you'll notice that I have some polymesh kind of coming out the neck. I always give myself a little extra, but it's fused on, it's hooped. So now when I'm ready to embroider, I'm going to take it and I'm just going to bring it around.
You can hand me that bottle of water. That was mine.
I think this one's mine. This one's yours. So I'm going to bring it around. So it's caught on. Oh, it's caught in there. There we go. Okay, so then that one is caught in that. So now I have nothing on the back. Make sure there's no sleeve. And now I can just kind of open this up. And if you want, you can put some clips or something. But I've got that open area where I can embroider. So just hold it up to the camera. But see, I can just embroider that area, and I'm not embroidering through the back. Now I've got an earring on there. But I've got my, my connection exposed. Shirt is ready, and my area is embroidered. But hooping it was so much easier because I fused my poly mesh to the shirt before I started. So once it's done, I can remove this and I'll cut it away. So I use the fusible poly mesh. Now let's talk about use a medium heat iron, because what is the other question that we get all the time? Does poly mesh shrink? Let me tell you, there's other brands of poly mesh out there, and I'll tell you the name. It's like no-show mesh. Any of those ones that are the cutaway mesh stabilizer. This information is for all of them. So if you don't have poly mesh, maybe you have another brand, same information. Guess what it's made out of? Nylon. What happens when nylon gets hot? It melts. So what are you emailing OESD and saying, does poly mesh shrink? No, it doesn't shrink, but guess what? You probably ironed it and you started to melt it, and what does that look like? So poly mesh, no-show mesh, any of them, same thing. If you iron them too hot, so what do you do when you take it out of your hoop and it looks a little puckered? I'm going to go iron it. What do? You put it down, and guess what? It keeps getting more and more puckered, and you're going crazy because you're like, no matter how much I iron it, the puckers won't go away because you're just continuously melting it. So you can't pre-steam it, pre-shrink it, pre-anything it. You just have to use the medium heat iron. Think about nylon. Think every time you're using poly mesh, what would happen if I ironed my pantyhose? So just remember that. Some of you might have, like, for example, there's Lorastar irons. They don't have temperature controls on some of the models, but they do have that delicate fabric sole plate. So if you have an iron that doesn't have a temperature control, that's just one example. There might be others. What you can do is either, on that one, you can use that sole plate, but also even just putting a piece of fabric in between your project and your iron can take away enough of the heat to prevent that from happening. The other thing, if I have made a t-shirt or something for myself and have used poly mesh, I remember the tumble dry low on things. think tumble dry low. You don't want to put it in a burning hot dryer either, because the same thing's going to happen. So as long as you know the right temperatures to use, you're not going to have those issues with your polymesh shrinking, because it really doesn't shrink. You just like to melt it. So it's a otherwise perfect product for, your t-shirts, your sweatshirts, your baby clothes, anything, just because that's so soft. And it's only $39.99 for a 10-yard roll. And when a majority of the rolls that I'm talking about, these are 20-inch rolls, because guess what? We have big hoops. So, and someone came up to me and they said, but I like to use my small hoop sometime. Then cut it. Because guess what? A 20-inch roll is 2 10-inch rolls.
Wow.
So it's more economical to get the bigger one and then cut it down. So you can use this in your 5x7 hoop or your big giant 18-inch hoop. And we mentioned before, when I do knits, use a topper, use the Stitch 2.0 topper. Yes.
Question. So if you hoop that fusible and then put your t-shirt on there, do you iron that fusible to the t-shirt?
Yes. Okay. So she asked, when I hoop and I put my t-shirt on, is my t-shirt. So yes. So my t-shirt, I iron the fusible polymesh to my t-shirt before I hoop it. And so when I'm hooping it, the polymesh fused to the t-shirt is preventing the t-shirt from stretching as I'm hooping. So yeah, good question. So we definitely want to use your topper when you're doing knits, t-shirts, anything like that. So, and I usually use the Stitch 2.0 because I don't need it in there permanently. I just need it during the process of embroidery. So that's only $15.99. And then the other thing that I recommend is gentle touch backing. So that goes on after you're done embroidering. So, there are many people, not just babies, not just children, adults that are sensitive to those bobbin stitches. They can be rough on your skin. So the polymesh itself is very soft, but the stitches might be rough. And so putting the gentle touch on, it's like a knit that's fusible. I'll give you a couple hints on it. One is that it is fairly permanent. So it will go through the laundry. Every so often, after many, many washes, I will notice that it will start to come away. You can refuse it. And it's not expensive, even if you have to replace it. But the other thing is it will stay on your project longer if you do either rounding the corners. So you'll notice in the pictures on the slide there, they didn't do sharp corners. They kind of rounded them. I'll do that, or I'll use pinking shears or pinking blade. Anything that keeps it from having defined corners will help it stay on your project and go through the laundry a lot more often. But anyone that you embroider for will really appreciate this. I think not only does it help with skin irritation or anything like that, I think your stuff just looks nicer when you put the gentle touch. I think it just looks prettier. So you definitely want to have gentle touch if you're doing a lot of clothing. I've also used gentle touch. How many of you have ever gotten just like a little tear or something, and it could have happened when you were cutting away your stabilizer? I will, if you put gentle touch on the back, a lot of times you can just kind of close that little area that was snipped, and the gentle touch will hold it together and it won't be noticeable. So it works for that too.
That's $14.39.
So only $14.39. So I would definitely get some of that. So we're going to go in and
I think they want this.
They want some gentle touch. Yes, question.
So you're saying that anything you, like a t-shirt that you embroidered something, you have on dry, you do it on low?
I dry them on like a medium or low. I just don't dry it on the hottest. So she asked, if she embroiders a t-shirt, anything like that, does she always have to dry it? I just don't use the hottest setting of my dryer when I have polymesh in it. So most of the time I don't anyway, And a lot of times I line dry. So, but sometimes, some of those really high settings on the dryers, they can just be a little too hot for the poly mesh, and you'll see some puckering once it comes out of the dryer, and then you'll know that's what happened. So any other questions on t-shirts? We're going to talk about tiling scenes real quick. So if you don't know what a tiling scene is, it is several small designs put together to become one big design. So it might be a wall hanging, could be something like this tree skirt, it could be something, a small little project like a garden flag, but multiple things that may fall into the tiling scene category. So our stitches are feathered in to help with gaps or things like that. So I'll show you actually a picture of what that means. But the question that we get is, what stabilizer do I use? The answer is read the instructions because they're all different. So we can't just give you a straight answer of, you're always going to use this. But there are some that are, we kind of mix and match in the majority of tiling scenes. But if you ever want to read the instructions, of course, if you purchase the USB, they're going to come on the USB, but you can also read them on our website. And the nice thing is you can read them on the website if you have never purchased that. So maybe you're thinking about calling Moores up and saying, I want to buy this USB for this tiling scene, but you want to get the supplies at the same time. So you're going to call them or come into the store. You can get those instructions ahead of time. So when you come in, you say, order this design collection and all of these things to go with it, because you don't have to wait until you own it to get the supply list. So that's all on our website. And then here's just what a basic set of instructions look like. So it'll tell you what stabilizers we used, what fabrics we used, what notions we found were helpful, and then you'll go into each step by step with pictures and everything that you need to start making that tiling scene. So you'll notice when you look at the instructions, it will always recommend that the last stitch of the tile, which we call the seam stitch, that you change your bobbin thread. And so in this picture, you can see that they've used black bobbin thread. How many of you have bobbins in your house that are basically being held hostage because they have a little bit of thread on them and you don't want to waste it? You finally have a reason to use those.
Yeah. And you don't want to wind on top of it.
No, don't wind on top of it. No,
Yeah.
please don't do that. I've seen that. No, it doesn't come out pretty. But the nice thing with the seam stitch is that you're the only person who's ever going to see it. So it doesn't matter what color it is. It doesn't matter anything except that you need to be able to see it against your stabilizer. So the purpose of the seam stitch is, number one, it is your guide for trimming the tiles apart. So you are going to stitch them out, and then you're going to cut a 1/2 inch outside that seam stitch. So the seam stitch is your guide. Then once you're ready to put the tiles together, it is your guide for sewing. So as long as you have trimmed the tile correctly, then it's also, you're going to be able to sew it together, and they're going to go together pretty easily. So that's why we use the contrasting color in the seam stitch. So it doesn't matter what color the thread is in the bobbin. It's you just need to know what, or it just needs to be visible against those stabilizer.
We have a question from
Oh,
one of our online followers. Is fusible poly mesh the type of fusible you would use on applique projects like wall hanging? So I guess that would be like the tiling scene?
So I wouldn't use it on tiling scenes because you want to tear away in those, but you could, and so I know some people do, but usually when I think of using poly mesh or fusible poly mesh, it's mostly on clothing, and a lot of times the reason that I don't use it on things with woven fabrics or like cotton is when I'm done, I really want to be able to press them at the cotton setting. So I'm using it on things that are not going to require a hot iron when I'm done. So that's my go-to. But for the most part, poly mesh to me is for like more clothing garment sewing.
Yeah.
But I know other people use it. Also in the hoop projects, it's good. And And some people will put it in when they're doing quilt blocks, like piecing quilt blocks in the hoop. So I've seen it in that too, and it's successful. So both of those. So we talked about that. Then we have in our needle when we're stitching that seam stitch. I always use, personally, water-soluble thread in the needle. So what you want to make sure is that your thread isn't obvious. So if you can find a thread that could go in your needle during that seam stitch that really blends in with the project, the reason that you don't want it to be obvious in the needle is because, I don't know, maybe you guys are better than me, but I don't always sew a perfect straight line. And so every once in a while, you can see some of that seam stitch on the front of my project. And so you want it to really blend. So if it is visible, that's why a lot of times I'll use water-soluble thread.
Kimberly,
Because
maybe I can get you a machine to help you sew a straight line.
maybe. I think that my main problem is I'm in a race and I don't have time to sew straight lines. But I'm sure you could, because I'm sure you have laser lights and projection and stitch in the ditch feet and all the cool things that I probably do have. But I've learned that, sometimes I'm in a race and I just don't want to deal with, worrying about it. So I'll put the water soluble thread in there. And we don't sell water soluble thread, but I bet I know someone who does.
We do.
So if you're looking for that, and it's not on our list or anything, it's just because it's not an OESD product, but I'm sure that if you contact Morse, they'll hook you up.
Yep.
And then just really quickly, I wanted to show you, because this question comes up: why do you put the feathering stitch? Why is there stitches in my seam allowance? It adds bulk, and the reason we do it is for your benefit. Like I said, our digitizers have to make everything they digitize, and they got tired of this look that you see on the right, where if they didn't sew perfectly, they would get gaps. And so they feather the stitches in and it looks seamless. So even if you are not a perfect seamstress, no one would ever know, because the stitches are feathered in. Yes?
I'm having a problem opening up the seams and ironing them flat.
So we have a tool. You've used the tool. You just got a good hot steamy iron. Yeah. So she's saying that she has trouble getting the seams open and flat. And really, they don't have to be flat. You just want them, fairly open. But there is a tool that we sell. We didn't really bring it up here. I didn't put it on our list, but if you're interested, it's called the point and press tool. So if you're interested in it, just come and talk to someone, and we'll. But it does help open those seams. But I would say a really, really good iron is imperative for doing them. So
over there too.
Lots of steam and some good pressure also. Yes.
I've done the puffy seams, and I found the steam and a really good iron, and use the tailor's clapper.
Yeah, clapper. So she said that her trick is the steam and the good iron and a tailor's clapper. Yeah.
Someone asked what a tailor clapper is.
A tailor's clapper. So it looks like a block of wood, and it's what tailors used to get their, any folds, any hem lines or anything to stay permanent. So you have the steam, you put that down, and the iron, and then you put the clapper down, and the clapper absorbs the steam out of it and really sets that seam permanently. So, if you do a lot of quilting or anything, and I'm sure you sell them.
I don't, but I think I will.
Oh yeah. I know that you have sources.
Yeah, I do have sources.
So that's the one thing that I've learned is that, you're shopping in a full line store like this. If they don't have it in stock, they can get it. Yeah. So they know a guy.
Yeah.
So some of the supplies that we would recommend, of course,
thread.
The thread. So many of our tiling scenes have the shading, the highlighting. You need the exact colors that our digitizers recommended. So to make that easy, we have thread kits available. We have some here in the store, but I couldn't give you the list of all of them just because there's so many. So if there is a tiling scene that you are particularly interested in making, just contact Morse because they can order it.
Yeah, and the first one you'll ever do, you think you're going to use your own thread. The second one, you'll buy the kit.
Yeah, just get the kit.
So much easier.
Yeah, so much easier. You have the exact correct colors.
It's like painting
and
by
you have
numbers.
enough.
It's just you have
Yeah,
everything.
and we even have figured out if there's a color that's used a lot in that tiling scene, and we know you're going to need 2 spools, there will be 2 spools in the thread kit. So you're not even making those guesses. The other thing is that you probably won't use all the thread in the thread kit to make that. It's not like you're going to run down to the last, 5 inches on that spool of thread with that tiling scene. So you're going to, have thread to go into your stash for other projects. Yes. They're full spools. Yeah, they're 1,000 meter isocord. At OESD, we love isocord thread. It's your 40 weight polyester, high quality thread that we just find we don't have shredding, breaking. It's color fast. The other thing about it is they don't have dye lots, so we're not worried that a shade might change over the years, because I don't know if you've ever done that, where you started a project and then 5 years later decide to finish it. So we're not worried that, in those scenarios that you could not be able to replace that color. So that's why we use it. So the stabilizers that you will see in tiling scenes, 100% of the tiling scenes will have fusible woven, because if you ever embroider on cotton fabric, you need fusible woven 100% of the time. So you should always have it on hand. It is the prep. Cotton fabric was not woven or created in the factory to be embroidered on. So you have to prep it and get it ready to support the design. So you're going to use fusible woven, and George has that here. We have the white, that's the most commonly used one, for $31.19. But they can, it does come in the black. If you're interested in that, you can contact them. So heavyweight tearaway is another one commonly used. A lot of our tiling scenes are very stitch intensive. In fact, some of them use 2 layers of heavyweight tearaway. So you'll definitely want to have some of that if you're planning on making some of them. And that is only $23.99 here at the show. And it's a nice, once again, we're talking the big 20-inch rolls. So, and you're going to use heavyweight tearaway anytime you are embroidering with, a real stitch intensive design on a woven fabric. So even if it's not a tiling scene, if you're going to make a lot of, large designs or heavy density designs, you want to have that on hand.
And those wall hangings, they're resilient. I mean, those
Yes.
are the ones that have no
they're
problem.
not a quilt. You're not going to snuggle in them.
No, they're a wall hanging. I mean, it's really nice.
Yeah, they're like a tapestry, and they're an heirloom.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're.
When we're done here, people, there's a sample of like the Thomas Kincaid up on the
Yeah, I
wall.
think
There's
I have
several.
all 3 Thomas Kincaids hanging
that's
up here.
Wonderful, yeah.
Yeah. And then a lot of them will also use medium tearaway. So just depending on the density of the design. So that we have available here, only $20.79. And medium tearaway, that is your go-to. Like medium stitch count designs, medium tearaway, you should always have that on hand. So every time I come to these shows, I say, stock up, stock up, stock up, because it's on sale and you don't want to have regrets when you're in the middle of the project at home and you run out. Guess what happened to me a couple weeks ago? I ran out of stabilizer. I'm like, I'm the one who says to never run out. But I was devastated. You should have seen me digging through everything in my room, every bin, I was like, I have to have more. Anyway, I was very, very sad because where I live, nobody carries OESD products. So I have to order it.
We shipped you.
I know. I'm sure I've done it. So so I wanted to talk really quickly about the hoops because so how many of you knew that earlier this year OESD purchased the company Designs and Machine Embroidery? So now we have the hoops, and so one of the things that was always kind of problematic for our customers was when they're doing these tiling scenes, they've got their fabric with their fusible woven and 2 layers of heavyweight stabilizer. That is hard to hoop. And so I wanted to talk to you about the magnetic hoops because they are so wonderful for so many things, but tiling scenes is one of them. So if you have never experienced them, so George has over there the newest one. That's for the Radiance and the Avenir.
Yeah, this is huge. And,
Look at
you
how
saw this
huge
at Tech
that
Party,
is.
and we now are getting those orders in.
Yeah.
But they have every brand, every model,
Yeah,
they have a hoop.
Yeah.
So
We couldn't put all of them up here. So if you want them for a certain machine, and so I'll tell you, of course, you want the big ones.
Yeah.
Of course, for your if you have a Radiance Avenir, any of the larger machines,
so I just want to
Genomes.
say this: you let us know what model you want it for, what size, and if we don't have it here, we'll order it, and we're going to offer it at the lowest price available.
Yes.
But
and he said something about that. He's going to say stuff that I'm not even supposed to know.
Coupon.
Yeah,
close your ears.
I'm not supposed to know about this.
Coupon code online Monster gives you an extra 10% off the lowest price on those hoops. They're gonna say it's going to be off everything, but we automatically will automatically give you the discount. You don't have to come up to the counter and say Monster unless you want to scare someone at the counter.
I think you should, though.
Yeah. So everybody say to Adolfo Monster. Okay.
So like I said, they're wonderful for doing the tiling scenes whenever you're hooping something that's just difficult to get in your hoop. But also, if you like to quilt with your embroidery machine, I think that's what sold me the first time, because I realized that I could move my fabric. If you're doing edge-to-edge quilting, I could move my quilt without taking my hoop off my machine. Because every time you're on, you're off, you're on, that's when something gets caught underneath or the problems happen. So I realized that I could just take my hoop, and I don't have really a big enough piece of fabric, but my hoop could be attached to my machine. These are so easy to use. So I can just lift it, and depending on which way I'm going, I would just slide. And then lay this back down, and I'm ready to embroider again. Hoop never left my machine. And it's a strong magnet.
And I will tell you, there's several brands, I love their own magnetic hoops, but they don't have all the sizes that you need. That's what's great about this. You
every size you can possibly
whatever
imagine.
size your machine comes with, they have a compatible magnetic hoop for that.
And the nice thing that I also like is, so I may have purchased a machine, most like Brothers, Baby Locks, most of them come with a standard 4 hoops. They can use a lot more sizes. Yeah. So for example, one of my favorite sizes of all time is the 6x6.
I knew you were going to say that.
The 8x8 and the 8x12. And guess what? None of those came with my machine. So I could go in and I could buy, the Brother version of them, but I bought the Monster Hoop version because it's more versatile. Mm-hmm. So I can get all those off sizes too. And so, but if you are wanting it, think about what you're going to use it for. Are you going to use it for quilting? If you're going to use it for quilting, I'd go for the biggest size your machine can handle. But if you're using it, maybe you want to do towels with it. I showed you towels with the Ultra Clean and Tear Plus, but you could also, put the Ultra Clean and Tear Plus on the towel and then just hoop it, because the Monster Hoop will hold the weight of that towel. It's easy. So anything thick, heavy, bulky, it's just, works so much better. But we were super excited to get the big one. Now, if you're wondering, will it damage my machine? What will happen? All of the hoops that we have are pre-tested and pre-approved by the manufacturer before. That's why it took us a year for this hoop to come available, because we had to wait for Brother to approve it, that it won't have an issue with their machines. So so no worry about, if it will void a warranty or anything like that. They really are so nice to use. If you have arthritis or any strength issues, they will make hooping easier. I wanted to make sure you do know though, when you don't have something in the hoop,
Cameron, I pressed the wrong button.
you always want, so a lot of times when you purchase them, you think this is garbage. Don't throw this away, because when it's in storage, you want to keep. So this thing here, I've got it on the camera, maybe. Oh, he's got the split screen.
There we go.
Oh,
Good.
now
Thank
it's
you,
not on the
Cameron.
camera.
All right, now we want on the camera. All right, yeah, press the right one.
So keep.
There you go. Yeah.
So keep this piece. Don't throw this away when you get your hoop, because that will.
Yeah,
And you just store it like this. So store it, because that way this helps when you're pulling them apart, because the magnets are really strong. If these two, if the green part and the metal part get together, it can be difficult to take them apart. So that's what that's for. So when you get, I've seen that happen a lot, where customers, they say, "Oh, I thought that was just garbage." Don't throw that away. That'll help you. All right, so we can go back.
You think? I did it.
You did it. All right. Question, yes.
About the compatibility. And as you said, I wanted to get the sizes that I didn't have, and I got the new Radiance. And so I bought a 6x6, an 8x8, and a 10 5/8 by 16. And that was in February. Well, shortly after that, and the compatibility chart showed that was compatible with the Radiance. Shortly after that, the compatibility chart changed, and the 8x8 and the 10 and 5/8 by 16 are no longer showing as compatible.
They should be. I don't know if it's something on the website, but your machine should read them.
I have an answer.
I haven't tried
Yeah.
it 'cause I was
Yeah, it should be fine. If they're the same size as and you can go and look, because you have the Radiance.
at the Radiance.
So you can see in your settings screen all the sizes that are compatible with your machine, and those sizes are listed in there.
When I emailed customer service, and they said, "Oh, no, they're not compatible. We're working on it, and when they become compatible."
Do you think there was I wonder if there was an update to the machine?
Here's the thing. All those that you mentioned are also sizes that are for the Solaris. So they are compatible. But just when a new machine comes out, they don't list all the prior hoops.
Yeah.
So they will all fit, just like,
Yeah.
because the only one that you mentioned that it would not work, let's say on the Solaris, was the 10 5/8 by 18. And that's the new one. So they didn't have that available when you first ordered. So yes, all those will work.
But they'll.
I just want to let you know your customer service is.
I'll let them know.
They're saying something else
Yeah.
because I emailed them.
Yeah.
And they said,
Let's clarify who's customer service.
oh,
Yes.
oh, yes.
Yeah, because my customer service is never wrong. Right?
Yeah.
Right, Lorena?
Right.
I
Say
got your
it
back, girl.
loud in case you missed it. No, so I will I'll send them a note to make sure that they are, that they know that correct information. So it, hopefully it was someone new, or, so they.
Because they said they would switch them out for me when they became compatible, and I keep emailing.
Yeah,
them
there
saying,
shouldn't be an
"Haven't done
issue.
that yet," and I'm getting no answer.
Just if you want
Okay.
to bring them in here, we'll test them out and show you.
Yeah, they should be fine. But yeah, if there's an issue, we'll take care of
We
it.
have another question.
Yes.
Actually, it's not a question, but it's like, I bought the 9x14 for my XJ1.
Yeah.
And I did my very first ever edge quilting on it. And I was doing a happy dance. I want to tell you, because it was easy for me to pull off. I pulled it up in the throat of the machine so I could move the material over. But it was a dream.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm going to buy more sizes of these because they're a dream.
So
Wonderful.
she's saying that she bought it for her machine and did her first edge to edge, and it was a dream. And now she's going to buy more sizes.
Nice.
So that's what we like to hear. Yeah.
Yes, Steve.
I saw something over there with the monster hoops. Something that fits in the edges, or it's a clip or something
Yeah, so there's some accessories that you can get with them. Unfortunately, if I was here all day, I would show you everything, but there are some accessories that you can get that go with the monster hoops. Some things that help for, so that things don't, move into your embroidery area, like a barricade, or those are, and then there's also some just other like small accessories, to help you using them. So help lining them up. And so there are some.
So when we break, we can go and show you.
Yeah.
So break, we're ending soon.
Yeah, we're ending soon. It's almost, yeah. So I want to talk to you about, I had said kind of all day, I've been talking about a lot of stabilizers. So I want to talk to you about this bundle really quickly, because a lot of the stabilizers that I've been referencing throughout all of these techniques are included. And this is the must-have bundle because it covers like kind of the things you do the most. So it has the poly mesh in it that we used on our t-shirts. It has the Ultra Clean and Tear Plus that we use on our towels. It has your medium tearaway, which I talked about when we did the tiling scenes. But remember, that is your go-to medium tearaway for all your medium stitch count designs on woven fabrics. Aqua mesh, so you're covered for freestanding lace. And then it's got your topper. Your heat to go is what we put in there because we learned that most people do towels more than they do other things. So if you need the other toppers, you'll have to buy them separately. That bundle is worth over $500. OESD says it's $199. George says no. He says $179.99. So you are getting, and these are, other than the heat to go, they are 20-inch rolls, and the heat to go is the 12-inch. That's the largest it comes in. Because remember, you're not hooping that, so you don't need the big.
Is this the one that's going to have a slight delay?
Yes. So we will be. We're the Ultra Clean and Tear Plus is back ordered right now. We're getting that in stock soon, so it will start shipping in November. So okay, you'll order that, and then we'll
order at the event or online.
Yeah.
We'll put a link there to get that because that's your best savings.
Oh, it's the best deal.
More is always better.
Yes.
Always.
And you get these 7 design collections in it. So when you get the bundle, you're going to get a USB inside it, and it's going to have all of these. And the fun thing is it's got like a little everything. You've got lace in there, you've got quilting, you've got applique, you've got in the hoop, you name it, it's in there. So we've really got you covered in there. So you definitely want that bundle. That price, it's way more than 50% off. Okay, so really quickly, we have one more bundle. I'm going to just talk about the things that you need with it. So blanks. So we have towels. Our towels are the nicest towels you can get. They do not turn into a rhombus when you wash them. How many of you have had that happen?
A rhombus?
So they change their shapes.
Okay.
So minimal shrinkage. They feel nice. You're not embarrassed to give them as a gift because they feel nice. Just a quality. So you get 2 towels in each package, and they are only $8.79 for the 2 towels. And they come in multiple colors. So you would just tell them, if you're here, you'll just go and pick which colors. But if you're ordering online, probably just one of each. That's what I would do. I just want everything. Yep. So you get multiple colors. And the other thing that we have for as far as in our blanks category is our greeting card blanks. And now you could go down to the office supply store and you could test all the cards that you can buy and see if they work with embroidery, or you could just get these and know. Like we did all the testing for you. These are the right cards. They have the right size. They embroider beautifully. So they come with the envelopes, everything that you need. So those you get, you can get them in 2 sizes. We have the large size here available for only $9.59. So they're like a 5x7 card, and you get 10 in the pack, and you get the envelopes also. We also have aprons, and I'm kind of building up. These are gifty things. Guess what time of year it is? So aprons. Everyone can use an apron. How many of you have a sublimation printer from Moore's.
We-
They haven't done those.
No, I haven't
Oh,
done that, yeah.
nobody does that. I've
It's a
seen other
sublimation
dealers.
printer.
Yeah, some dealers, because it's a brother product. So, so I was going to say that you can use those, but beautiful to embroider on. Oh my goodness. Or scan and cut, cutting, you know, like the heat transfer vinyl, things like that. They work really well. So what I love about our aprons is they fit a normal sized human being. The straps are long enough to go around the waist. The neck is adjustable strap, so it goes around even those with big heads. So we have the white ones available for $14.39, and they, once again, if you're making this as a gift for someone, what I love about them is they're a polycotton blend. You're not worried about shrinking or anything like that. They wash beautifully. They're not wrinkled when they come out. So just a nice gift. If because of the length, because we made them so that they will work with tall people also, a lot of our customers will, if they're giving it to someone who is vertically challenged, they will just fold it up and make pockets, you know, with the hemline. So, so when you're doing things like the towels, they work really well using Ultra Clean and Tear fusible. On the terry cloth towels, we use the plus, the sticky one. Now we're using the fusible on these because guess what I like to do? I like to hoop them. They stitch better if they're hooped. So I fuse the stabilizer on and then I can easily hoop these towels. So it works exactly the same way. You've got the tear away, wash away capability. So the back of your towels is going to look really nice when you're done, but you fused it on instead of stuck them down. And this stabilizer is only $36.79. So great sale if you're going to do a lot of these. And these are the ones I keep in the basket by the door, a lot of them. So make sure you have plenty. The other thing that I just wanted to quickly mention, because we have little 3-packs of quilting thread here.
Want me to get some of those?
And
Did you grab any? Oh, you got them.
I have one here. So we just bring in the 3-packs to these events, but this is a cotton wrapped poly. So you get polyester, the look of cotton. So we brought this in when we launched our long arm division, but then we realized, I realized because I don't have a long arm yet, that I could edge to edge quilt with it. I could embroider with it. Then I learned this is my go-to thread. I piece with it. I sew with it. I do everything with it. And so this is the highest quality you can get. It's made by the same company in the same factory where we get our isocord thread. So we have these nice 3-packs. So there's a blue one, a kind of a gray one, a neutral one, and like a cream one. But if you just need a thread that does everything, but I wanted to show you, so I did red work with the quilting thread. And we'll see if we can. So it looks more vintage because the quilting thread is that matte, more vintage looking color.
You said that's 50 weight?
So it's 50 weight. So like I said, all purpose. So I definitely recommend if you do not have any yet, pick up these 3-packs because they're a great value, and then they coordinate. I also did the same thing in Kingstar because I have to do everything. So
You get to do everything.
So it says 50 colors. We've just increased that to 100 colors just in the last, month or so. But
do we have a slide up there for the 3-packs? I think we have the 3-packs online here.
Yeah, I think I don't have a slide for the 3-packs,
but the
the
price,
3-packs.
Carol, on the
do
3-pack?
we have? But we have them. $31.18
is the sale price.
Is the price.
Yeah.
So that's because I think that's a big savings. But definitely, I cannot say enough good things about the Perfect Quilting thread. We were really excited when we got that in, but of course, I'm on the embroidery side of the company, so you know, when they said, oh, it's for the long arm people, I'm like, oh, no, it's not. I said, nope, I'm taking that too. So I've been enjoying it. But if you do edge to edge quilting, if you just want that look like a long arm did it, that might be your go-to. But like I said, I also piece with it. I do everything with it. So with it, everything. So as far as doing cards are so easy to make. And so the stabilizer that we would typically use is Stable Stick Tearaway, which I've talked about earlier. That's our medium tearaway stabilizer that has the adhesive on it. And you hoop that. All of our card designs give you a placement guide. So you've got your Stable Stick Tearaway in your hoop. It's sticky. Do your placement guide. That tells you where to put your card down. And then you start embroidering and it's done. So very easily, very easy to do cards. And of course, you'll need the cards. So the Stable Stick Tearaway, we talked about that earlier. I know we had a price on it earlier, but you're going to want it in the bundle anyway. So then we have the cards. They're only $9.59. And then we have the bundle. I call it gifts galore because it's everything you need to do gifts and all the stabilizer you need to go with. So it has Stable Stick Tearaway in it and the fusible Ultra Clean and Tear. Those are the two stabilizers you need for all the gifty items that are in it because you've got the cards in that bundle. And you're going to use a Stable Stick Tearaway on the cards. You have got the tea towels. You're going to use the fusible Ultra Clean and Tear on the towels.
Everything's in there.
And then you have an apron. You're going to use a Stable Stick Tearaway on the apron. So you have everything you need, including 4 designs or design collections to make the gifts. So we've included the dessert recipe towels. Recipe towels are super fun to make. And our recipe towels, by the way, if someone actually did decide to make that recipe, they were tested in the office in a potluck.
So go back to the pricing on this.
So
we brought in a limited number of these. We actually have them here.
Yes, so those are here.
For
$99.
$226.91. So anybody knows that they want one, raise your hand and we'll get one to you.
These are, so it is gift giving season. So it is time to get ready for that. So you get the dessert recipe towels. I had to put one in there for the guys. And that's why I did the black apron. Guys like the black aprons. So that's called If You Build It. I wish that I could show you all the collections in it. They're hilarious. They're fun. They're, great for a gift for the guys.
Now I see the next slide, and the next slide's for questions. But before we do this, I've got my final 2 prizes because I want to be able to give them away online too. So like, share, comment. I have 2 pairs of scissors. And while I'm doing that, they're going to pull your name up for online. But I have 2 people here to get our final.
Who are we going to do?
I think we're rounding it up.
We're rounding it up, yeah.
How did they know? How did they know? Cheryl Zawicki.
Oh, congratulations.
Very nice. I always look for good prizes for my customers. Ingrid Rosenthal, congratulations. There you go. All right, and then online, put on my glasses. Oh, I recognize this, Benet Williams on Facebook. Hi,
Benet, she is one of OESD's super fans. We love Benet.
I think Benet's popular everywhere. And then Vicki Gentry on YouTube. Congratulations, Vicki.
Okay.
So congratulations. So I think we have some questions. We're going to open up for questions, but I think we have a question from online. Is that the case?
Yes.
Do we have a question?
Yes. So Cheryl wanted me just to deliver this. So many of you are spending, I think all of you are spending more than $59, right? So everyone here, but we're also going to honor that for the people who watched online.
Okay. So how are we going to do that? Tell me.
So we're going to get like a list. Cheryl's going to keep a list. They're going to give it to me. So those designs, we will need your email address because they will be delivered to your OESD.com account. So if you already have one, that's fine. If you don't already have one, you will get one. But they will be downloaded to the OESD.com account. They'll be in your My Designs folder as soon as we get those names distributed. But honestly, you're just joining Spree Club, right? So you're going to get it that way, right? That's a no-brainer.
No brainer. So online, if you purchase, is it $59?
$59,
Okay.
they get a free design
So
collection.
I've got another key person behind my wall there. Fatima, you hear that? We're going to figure it out.
So yeah, so I will just need, so when you're contacting them, that's the information that I will need to deliver the collection is your name and your email address.
Okay.
And if you already have an OESD.com account, I need the email address associated with that, not your fake one.
That's a good thing. Yes.
Because I don't know if I have a fake one. I go into, whatever, Abercrombie and Fitch or whatever, and they're like, what's your email address? I got the fake one. All right. So any questions? All right. So I, of course, will be here if you need to come and talk to me. If you have any questions, those out there in the virtual world, I appreciate all of you coming. And so if you have questions for Moores, you email George's wife, right?
Customer service at moores-so.com.
And
they all have my number too. So.
and then you can also, any OESD related questions can go to support@oesd.com also.
All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for joining us online. All you here, many of you coming back next couple of days. We're going to really have a lot of embroidery fun. And don't forget to finalize your bags that we have for you. And thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining us.